What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back. I missed yesterday's show. Work, had a lot of work to do, had to go out of town for work. And when I was thinking about doing it in the afternoon, that didn't work out because work ran longer than I needed to. But we are back. We are back for episode 41. Let's give it a round of applause. Yes, we are back for episode 41 of AC Reviews the World. Remember, I am your host, AC the Engineer. And hey, it's a beautiful Saturday, September 13th. It's 8:30, y'all. It's 8:30 in the morning. Hopefully everybody had a good week, working hard, making some money, being productive members of society. How I like to say it. But we have a lot of stuff to cover. A lot of stuff to cover. We already know the first thing we got to cover is Charlie Kirk. We got to cover his assassination. We got some, and then on the same day as his assassination, we had a high school shooting in Colorado. So we got to cover that as well. We cannot forget, we cannot be overshadowed by Charlie Kirk, because that's going to be everywhere on everybody's page. You probably already seen it. You know what I'm talking about. It's everywhere on your page. Every time you turn on Twitter, Instagram, anything, that's all you hear. But there was also a high school shooting that same day. So we got to talk about that. More information about the Charlotte light rail stabbing. So we got a lot of things to cover today, especially since I missed yesterday. So it's going to be probably a longer show today. I'm expecting it to be a longer show today. Not sure how long, but we got to cover some stuff. We got to get into it. And like always, what I say, we got to review the world together. We got to review the world together. But thank y'all all for whoever tunes in. I don't know if anybody will tune in today, but hey, I'm still going to have it. I'm still out here just trying to review the world together and have discussions with people. Tell me if you, like always, tell me if you disagree with anything I say. Tell me if I'm just making some crazy things up. But I try to do my research, and then I try to just give you my opinion. And the main thing is I just want to spread the news of what some of the crimes that are happening that some people just don't see and their algorithm is not attuned to. I like to look around the world at different crimes and stuff like that, and just different news in general. It just doesn't have to be crimes, but different news in general. But you already know what I like to do. I like to get right into it. Like I said before, the first thing we're talking about today, the first thing is the Charlie Kirk assassination. So let me get over it. The Charlie Kirk assassination. So as we all know, he was assassinated by a shot to the neck. Awful. Now, some people, I do not agree with a lot of the things Charlie said, but I will never celebrate his death. I will never say that. I have sympathy for the family, and I don't feel that anyone who is just speaking and talking about their opinions, no matter how much I disagree with their opinions, I never wish them to be killed for them. But that's the first thing I like to say. But let's jump right into it. Let's get over. We got a lot of things to cover because we're going to go through. Basically, we got some TikTok reactions, people getting fired, a suspected killer, or a suspected assassin. But you know what I like to do? Let's get right into it. Let's do a quick overview. So let's get into it.
It is my great dishonor to be the person that says this and breaks this to you on television, but President Donald Trump is announcing on Truth Social, the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and his family. Charlie, we love you. Charlie Kirk, according to the...
Yep. So, as you see, he was assassinated. So let's get over into, we can't actually show the video, but it's out there if y'all want to see it. And viewer discretion is advised because it's a hard video because they have close-up videos of him actually getting shot. And it's hard to watch. So if you want to go see it, you can find it out there. I'm not going to show it on my channel, but if you want to go see it, go check it out. But we have an overview of basically from the background of when the shot happened and when you see some people running and evacuating. So we're going to get over into that video first just so we can see something. So let's get right over into that. Well, let's check this out.
Be in the camp. Just move.
What was that?
Oh my God! He just got shot! Holy shit! Holy shit!
Scattered.
There's been a shooting. We heard shots.
We're not gonna watch this whole thing, but
you guys okay? Okay, love you. Be safe. Okay, be safe. Bye.
I can't imagine the panic that would go through my mind if I'm sitting there watching someone speak, anybody speak. Doesn't matter what they're saying, but what I'm saying is, just imagine just being there and then experiencing it. I can't imagine. I truly can't.
Apparently, there's been a shooting. I don't know who's been shot.
As you can see, he's over there in that right.
We are here live at Utah Valley State University. There's been a shooting at the Charlie Kirk event, the TPUSA event. There has been a shooting. Everybody's evacuating. I don't know if that was shots or if that was fireworks, to be honest, but...
How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you doing?
So, absolutely crazy. We're not going to watch the whole thing of it, but that is how everybody was the scatter after, because we always know at a school shooting, absolutely terrible. But let's go over into, so right after that, we know that Charlie Kirk was shot. So we know that. So right after that, we had the people who come out after it was confirmed, who come out and do the, what everybody does. Not everybody does, but what people who don't have any thoughts in their mind or just let their thoughts run wild. I don't, absolutely crazy. But you got the TikTok video. Oh, copyright, can't have that.
A lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot. Well, breaking fucking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
So as you can see, a lot of people posted on TikTok who were celebrating and happy that he was killed. Like I said, I don't stand for, no matter if I disagree with what somebody says, I don't believe you should celebrate his death. I think you should still feel some kind of sympathy. I mean, that's just how I am, no matter what he believed in. But yeah, but we all know what happens from there. You have all actions you take in life has a reaction, or anything you do has a consequence. Now, the consequence can be good and the consequence can be bad. Some of these people are finding out that they have some bad consequences come about. So as you can see, let's go over into the good old Twitter. So Twitter is a good place. You can find a lot of things. But as you see with Twitter, so first, just some of these TikTok 12-second video, and then you have things like this happen. So this is a consequence of, first thing, I believe in free speech, and you are allowed to say whatever you want to. But there are consequences to saying what you want to say. I mean, that's just the natural part of life. Some people will not agree with it, and some people will do things because of what you said. And of course, Charlie Kirk understood that, but no one expects you to lose your life, but you can't control how somebody reacts. It's an awful thing. And like I said, I disagree with it, but you see here, you got people posting, they'll post just a short little video. She posted a video talking about Charlie Kirk disagreeing with it, or just saying how she felt. And they go in and they find who you are. They find who you are. They find where you work. And as you can see, she works at a pizzeria, and Regino, which are close to each other, said that when she sees the video, she said she views it as a necessary death. And they post exactly where you are. And it's things that the internet is a very powerful thing. Internet is a very powerful thing, but we go over to another one. Same thing.
For the people that are like, thoughts and prayers and condolences and empathy for Charlie Kirk.
I don't know how I feel about her daughter being right there.
And his family.
Well, I know how I feel. I don't agree with it. I don't know if you should be showing this or talking about this kind of stuff around with your kids, or making light of someone's death. But let's keep going.
In the words of Cardi B, we don't condone white supremacy. Cheers. Cheers.
Your daughter doesn't even understand. So, as you can, like what I said, any kind of action you take, any kind of message that you put out on the internet for people to see, like, I understand if you don't agree with and you don't feel any sympathy for what happened to him, that is your right to feel however you want to feel. But once you put it out on the internet, there are consequences to your actions. They could be good, they could be bad, like I said. But another one. So meet the Chicago public school student voice and leader specialist. She talks about on Instagram how she celebrates with the death with her daughter. And they post where you work at. They post your email. They post your job. Like I said, you can have the freedom of speech. I believe in. But at the end of the day, you have to be. If you put something out there, it can affect you. It can affect you in a good way, and it can affect you in a bad way. Be smart. Be smart. Absolutely crazy. But that is what happened right after. So let's go into a timeline of, hold on. One more thing. So it's not just TikTokers who are losing jobs and everything, who are trying to get people, or people are trying to get fired. You have MSNBC. So he made a comment, and
Christina Coleman is back live with that. Christina.
That's right, Tracy. We're hearing that this political contributor, Matthew Dode, got fired. And unfortunately, some on the left in the media, they've made some controversial comments following Charlie Kirk's political assassination. Take a listen.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. You can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech.
Yeah, so that comment got him in some pretty big trouble. MSNBC quickly addressed how inappropriate it was, writing, quote, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dode made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise.
Exactly. So I mean, you got to be smart, people. First of all, there's no place, like she said, there's no place for violence politically or any kind of violence. I will never preach for violence. But so, I don't know if his comments was that bad yet. I don't think it was tasteful or anything like that. And I don't think you should have made him, of course. But you got to be aware of your surroundings and what your message can do, or what your, not message, but what your reaction and you commenting on something can have effect on your natural life, on your regular job, what it is. But let's get over into the timeline of the assassination. So let's break that down and let's get into it. So the timeline. So as we can see, on September 10th at 12:09, Kirk appeared before the crowd of 3,000 people. He throws hats among the attendees before speaking. So at 12:23, Kirk was hit with a single shot. Investigators say that the shot came from a nearby rooftop. The subject moves to the other side of the building, jumping off the building and fleeing campus into a nearby neighborhood, according to Mason with UDPS. Video shows Kirk being carried by 6 men to an SUV, which transported him to the regional hospital. So as we see, so at 12:36, you had the reaction start pouring in. You had Donald Trump. We must pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot, a great guy from top and bottom. Mike Lee. And then at 12:52, UVU sends out an alert to the police for the investigation, are investigating, and that a suspect is in custody. So as we know, that wasn't the suspect. At 12:59, videos show students in lockdown on campuses. At 2:22 on same day, September 10th, the department says that the shooting suspect is not in custody. So that's when they finally released it. At 2:40, Trump announces that Charlie Kirk is dead. Got a bunch of people talking about it. At 4 o'clock, the governor does a press conference that there is a second person of interest in custody who is being questioned. As we know, that wasn't him as well. At 4:21, the FBI director writes on X, for the horrible shooting today that took Charlie Kirk's life. Suspect is in custody. So at 7:19, they issued that they recovered a weapon that was used in the shooting, a high-powered bolt-action rifle. The weapon was found in a wooded area where the shooter had fled, and the FBI will analyze the weapon. So he adds that the investigators also collected footwear impressions, palm prints, and forearm impressions. Sources later say that it was a Mauser, a older model imported Mauser .30-06 caliber bolt action rifle wrapped in a towel. So at September 11th, the next day, September 11th. So that 7/19 was September 11th. So at 9:56, authorities released an image of the suspected shooter. As we know, that is now Tyler Robinson, asking the public for help. So at 10:44, the FBI writes that they are offering a $100,000 reward for any tips. The next day at 6 a.m. on September 12th, Trump announces that a person is in custody. So the person in custody, as we know, is Tyler Robinson. So officials at 8 a.m., they officially say that Tyler Robinson is in custody and believed to be the person who shot Kirk, or the assassin. Cox says that after Robinson father recognized his son and disturbing the photos, he told Robinson to turn himself in. Robinson initially said no, but later changed his mind, officials said. The father then called the youth pastor, who was also a U.S. Marshal task force officer. Officer advised the father to have Robinson stay in place. The information was then conveyed to the FBI. So that is the breakdown of Charlie Kirk's assassination and the killer being caught. So a lot of things. So what's this? So as we know now that he was arrested for, or charged with, aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, and obstruction of justice. Capital first degree felony conduct. So those are the things he was arrested for. So before he was arrested, we have some videos that was released. So just people. So let's get over into this video and see what it's talking about. Oh, right here. Get into it.
A weapon, prints, and newly released video, but still no suspect arrested in the assassination of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Authorities in Utah say there are rapid developments as the manhunt continues. This as Vice President J.D. Vance is expected to meet with Kirk's family. NBC's Bofta Imam has the latest.
Wearing sunglasses, a black hat, and a black shirt with an American flag is the man police want your help tracking down in connection with the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. This new video helping to piece together more clues and how the shooter maneuvered.
We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location.
Authorities say he fired a single shot from a rooftop before vanishing among this large crowd.
Absolutely crazy. So, yep, like I said, that is the video that they released right before he was caught. So, first of all, here's a question. Who is Charlie? Who is Tyler Robinson? So let's get over into this video. It explains about exactly who he is.
It's the accused assassin posing with a .50 caliber machine gun. The chilling photo was taken at a military recruiting event. Tyler Robinson also posed with an anti-tank missile launcher. Here's what we've learned about the 22-year-old suspect accused of the political assassination that is shocking America.
Tyler Robinson.
He graduated from Pineview High School in Washington, Utah in 2021. Graduation photos with his proud mom, Amber, show him with a lei made from dollar bills as a graduation gift. Whip smart, his ACT score is 34, the top 1%, and he had a 4.0 grade point average. His mom took video the moment he learned he had earned a scholarship.
Congratulations, you have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University.
But the family's joy was short-lived. He attended Utah State University for just one semester before dropping out. I spoke with criminologist Casey Jordan.
He really just does fit the profile of somebody who falls into a rabbit hole, has a feeling of disillusionment and isolation. This kind of person is usually very immature and often at a crux in their life where they feel like nothing is turning out as they planned.
The Robinsons seem like an all-American family. Tyler was raised in this $600,000 six-bedroom home with hunting trophies on the walls.
Nice house.
Social media posts show family vacations and fishing trips. His mom works with disabled people and his father, Mark, owns a kitchen countertop business. But Utah's governor says Tyler Robinson's life took a dark turn.
Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years.
He said that at a family dinner before the shooting, Robinson vented about the visit of Charlie Kirk to Utah Valley University.
They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate.
Investigators also revealed that Kirk's assassin left behind bullet casings with political messages. One says, "Hey fascists, catch." Another says, "Bella Ciao Ciao Ciao," a song used in the video game Far Cry 6 and which radical elements have adopted as an anti-fascist anthem.
Bella Ciao Ciao Ciao.
There was also a reference on the bullets to a violent video game, Helldivers 2. The chilling engravings on bullet casings are invoking comparisons with Luigi Mangione, who prosecutors say scrawled messages on the bullets used to kill United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Like Luigi, Tyler Robinson is young and intelligent and had so much going for him before allegedly lashing out with a mindless act of violence.
So, as we can see, that's who Tyler is. So, we know that during while he was on the run from police, he also sent a message to one of his friends in the Discord.
The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact, Tyler, also mentioned that he had changed outfits.
So he sent a message in Discord stating all that. But how he was caught. So let's get over into how he was caught. So he was caught. His father is the one who brought him in. So let's get over into that. Hold on. Let's get right over into that.
We start with that breaking news. A suspect in custody for the shooting death of Charlie Kirk.
Earlier this morning, the FBI, along with other authorities, held a news conference to provide new details of the arrest. With more on the investigation, let's go to Eyewitness News political reporter Josh Haskell. He joins us live from Utah with the latest. Josh.
Well, Colleen, those here in Orem, Utah, they are relieved that Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter is now in custody. This is we're learning more about 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He lives in Washington County, Utah. For reference, Washington County, Utah is not far from Zion National Park. It's about 4 hours from Utah Valley University. But Robinson, he was once a student here. Now, this is what we've learned about the arrest. Robinson was taken into custody last night around 10 p.m. and his father played a critical role in convincing his son to turn himself in. Robinson initially said no, but changed his mind. His father called a youth pastor who is also a U.S. Marshals task force officer. The task force officer advised him to have his son stay in place. The U.S. Marshals took Robinson into custody and then contacted the FBI. Robinson had become more political in recent years, according to authorities. It's unclear exactly what that entailed, but Robinson had been a user of the widely popular online platform Discord. An average of nearly 5 million people use Discord each day, according to the company. After allegedly shooting Kirk and hiding the gun in the woods, Robinson messaged his roommate on Discord, asking his roommate to retrieve the weapon. The roommate told authorities that Robinson had sent him messages through Discord stating a need to retrieve a rifle from the drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush. The messages also referred to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. And authorities noted that Robinson had changed outfits.
Investigators interviewed.
That's pretty much all we know about how he was caught. Like they said and how we read it, the father recognized him. The father told him to turn himself in. He initially did not agree. He finally agreed to, and then they called some people to come and take him in. So the last thing about this we're going to get into is it seems like the wife of Charlie Kirk ended up doing a little press conference. So a longer press time. You can see the whole video. We're not probably going to watch the whole thing, but let's watch a little bit of it so we can see.
Our battle is not simply a political one. Above all, it is spiritual. It is spiritual. The spiritual warfare is palpable. Charlie loved his Savior with all of his heart, and he wanted every one of you to know him too. He wanted everyone to know that if they confess the Lord Jesus Christ who rose from the dead, then they will be saved. Hear me when I say this, nobody is ever too young to know the gospel. Nobody. Nobody is ever too young to get involved with saving this beautiful country, this country my husband loved and still loves. And nobody is ever too old either. There's no age limit.
Absolutely tragic. We're not going to watch the whole thing. You can find it on YouTube if you want to watch the whole thing. But she gave her thought. She gave a message talking about God and how their spiritual beliefs. But like I said, at the end of the day, no matter how much I didn't agree with what he said, some of the things he said did not make sense or didn't align with what my feelings were. And some of the things I just simply didn't agree with. I will never, ever celebrate someone dying for what they say. I will never agree with someone being killed or invoke or any kind of violence happening to someone just for what they say. I've had talks about this with my roommates. If someone calls me the N-word, I've never really been the type to think that I need to go and fight them. I might call them something back, but I would never use violence just for words. That's how I was taught and that's how I was raised. But some people disagree, and that is your right to disagree. But as we've seen with TikTok and MSNBC, and got some, I think a dude who works for the Panthers was also fired. The things you say have consequences. Anything you do have consequences. Some are good, some are bad. You have to be aware of that. You have to be aware about it. And if you put your message out there, you have to be aware that consequences can happen, good or bad. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna pray for his family. He lost their family, his wife and 2 little girls. They lost their father, a father that they loved. And I'm gonna pray for them. Pray that they can make it through a difficult time. But it's not you. You don't have to pray with me. I would never say that you have to pray for them, but that is what I am going to do. But that is the main things that we want to talk about. What was happening with the Charlie Kirk stuff. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said, and just tell me how you feel. Tell me how you felt about it. But absolutely crazy, everybody. It's been a crazy time, but at the end of the day, we got, like I always say, we gotta review the world together. We have to review the world together. Now, let's go over and pivot. On the same day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, we had a shooting. We had a shooting at the Evergreen High School. So it was, I believe it was a 16-year-old, but we'll get over into that. A 16-year-old ended up hurting. Let's get over into it. So not before I say something that I might be mistaken by, but we had a shooting on the same day that a lot of people aren't talking about. So, well, some people are, but a lot of people are. Charlie Kirk assassination is overshadowing. So, but we got to review it. So let's get over into it. We got a few videos to watch with this. So let's jump right into it.
And we're, of course, following more breaking news. There was another school shooting today. At least 3 students were shot by another student at Evergreen High School in the Denver area. The sheriff's office says the suspect was also wounded. All 3 are in critical condition. That shooting was first reported just after 1:30 this afternoon, our time. A campus lockdown has been lifted. We'll be sure to keep following this and bring you any new information as soon as it becomes available.
So that was just a little quick breaking news. So let's go over into the next video.
And we begin with breaking news at noon. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office just finished a news conference. They shared a picture and the name of the student who shot 2 other students at Evergreen High School yesterday. Investigators say 16-year-old Desmond Hawley went through the school looking for targets, but lockdown procedures kept him from getting through.
Wow. He came up against a roadblock on many of those doors. He couldn't get to those kids.
Thank you for being with us at noon. I'm Mikaela White. We want to give you a quick breakdown. There's a lot of new information the sheriff's office just shared with us. Investigators say 16-year-old Desmond Hawley seemed to have been, quote, radicalized by an extremist network. They did not provide more details on that. We know that he brought quite a bit of ammo, continued to reload a revolver handgun, take shots inside the school. The sheriff's office says Hawley eventually took his own life. We're also learning more about the 2 victims. Children's Hospital tells us they are treating 1 student. The other victim is still at St. Anthony's in Lakewood, and they were also critically hurt. Law enforcement has not identified either of those victims. Your reporter Justin Adams is live at Evergreen High School, where that update from law enforcement just happened. Justin, we heard you asking questions, and there are still plenty of questions that the community has about all of this.
Yeah, one of the questions that has been answered is that this crime scene doesn't only go at the school, but also behind the school, which is where one of the suspects was also hit in the incident from yesterday. As we told you earlier, look at your screen. This is the suspect, which was 16-year-old Desmond Holly, a student of Evergreen High School. Now, this student was on a bus when he arrived to school yesterday. He had a handgun and fired it multiple times and reloaded it several times in order to fire again. Jefferson County officer says that he was allegedly a part of an extremist network, and there still hasn't been a motive that has been found at this moment.
The suspect's gun was fired a lot. The reason we have so many crime scene areas inside is because we have windows shot out. We have lockers that were shot up. We're finding spent rounds, unspent rounds, so it's a huge area. And the school, I was told, is 3 levels. So lots of work to be done, but he fired multiple times.
Tragic. Absolutely tragic.
Now, for students looking to be able to pick up their vehicles, they can do so today. They will have to go to Bergen Meadows Elementary School. They will have to have their keys with them. If they do not have their keys, or if their keys was left inside of the school or inside of the car, they will not be able to get on the bus to go to Evergreen High School, in order to pick up their car. They could be able to do so until 4:45 today. And also at this moment, it is not known until when this high school will be open yet again. So this is one of those investigation scenes that will continue on, and we'll keep you updated right here on CBS News Colorado. In Evergreen, your reporter Justin Adams, covering Colorado First.
Justin, thank you for being out.
Absolutely crazy. It is. The senseless violence is absolutely wild. We don't have a motive yet. At least that's not what I'm seeing through my research, that I haven't seen that them post anything about a motive, just saying that he was radicalized. And I don't know what that means, but that is what they're saying. So let's get over into this next video.
Well, overnight in Colorado, crowds gathered in the Denver suburb of Evergreen for prayer, music, and reflection, supporting one another after Wednesday's school shooting. A 16-year-old boy shot and injured 2 students with a revolver and later died after shooting himself. Police are now releasing more information about his motives. They say he was radicalized by an extremist network and posted these photos of the gun to his X account that officials linked to him. But they still are not sure how he got the gun or if he tried to hurt a specific person. They are praising students and staff for their quick thinking during their lockdown.
He had to keep reloading. He would fire and reload, fire and reload, fire and reload. This went on and on. And as he did that, he tried to find new targets.
Officials say 2 students remain hospitalized. One of them is 18-year-old Matthew Silverstone. Police have obtained search warrants for the shooter's home, phone, and locker, and add that his parents are cooperating with the investigation.
That's good. That's good. Now, we got to get over into some of the students. So it seems like we got some videos from the students who was there and how they felt, because that's a good thing. We want to hear how the students felt. So let's get over into that.
Our group was shot at.
Did you see the shooter?
Yes. Just kind of terrified and shocked something like that was actually happening.
It was a lot. I couldn't really explain it. It's just I was scared to death, and
it's completely understandable.
I mean, it's big, and it's just something hard to cope with as like going into a new year and stuff. It's just fresh, but I mean, I'm not really thinking of this as a bad thing anymore, just because I have so much more I have more years to live for this, and I'm just grateful that I'm here.
There's a door to the outside on the other side of the band room from where we were hiding. There's a guy there. He yelled some things, and he shot at us at least twice. I don't think anyone was injured there, and we all ran to the band room after that and waited there until the police arrived.
My first thought was Haley, just because I knew she was inside, and I had no idea whether she was still in there or she had gone out, so I was scared for her.
Were you scared for your sister too?
Yeah, I was just like really trying to just like find a house to get into and stuff, because I didn't know where the shooter was, but the gunshots sounded like close. I'm still just like trying to process it, because it was a very shocking thing.
How disappointing is it for you that this is your sister's first year and this is how the first couple of weeks are going?
That did go through my mind. It's the 3rd week of her freshman year, and this is kind of how it's going. So, and like given that
3
she's
weeks
less
into
experience
school.
at the school. I was worried for her, and it's just upsetting that she's already had to deal with this.
Absolutely tragic, everybody. But that is what we know right now about the Evergreen high school shooting. They say he was radicalized, but they have no idea why or what that. I don't know what that means, but it's a tragic situation. He ended up he took his own life because he didn't want to face the consequences of what he was doing. We don't know who he was aiming for. We don't know if he was aiming for anybody or he was just trying to indiscriminately hurt people. But this world has no place for people who would cause senseless violence and violence in general. We must use our words. We must use our words. But like I always say, let's pray for the family. Let's pray for everybody, because the world our world is already a crazy place. It's a crazy place. I was thinking about looking at an article, but I believe we got all the information we needed out of that. All the information pretty much that was listed in the article. Well, absolutely tragic, everybody. Absolutely tragic. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Do you have an idea? Do you give guesses on what you think the motive could be? What does radicalize mean? But so this was on the same day as Charlie Kirk's shooting, and so some people aren't talking about it. So we have to review it and we have to go into it. But it's a tragic situation all around. But we got to review the world together. Now we're going to pivot over into the Charlotte light rail stabbing. So yes, the Charlotte light rail stabbing that happened in August. So we got a few videos to look at that. It looks like some people are trying to go after the judge for who released him 7 months prior to this. I don't know if she could have told that something like this would happen. I'm not sure about his background, but let's get over into it and see. I know somewhat about background, but let's get over into these videos and learn some more about it. Some people are saying it's racially motivated, and we'll get into a video about where you can see someone on Twitter. It's nothing. We're not going to go into the actual, because you can find that video too if you want to. You can actually see the stabbing, and it's the days of internet is wild. But let's get over into these videos and let's break it down. Let's break it down.
This morning, a new charge against the man accused in that deadly stabbing on Charlotte's light rail.
The Carlos Brown is already facing state-level first-degree murder charges, and now multiple agencies coming together to say they're also going to add a federal charge. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live explaining how local and federal leaders are standing shoulder to shoulder in this case.
That's good.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Autumn. Good morning to you. A good Wednesday morning, everyone. Basically, this case has gotten attention both locally, of course, and now nationally. And now, as you said, those federal charges, that could mean that the suspect in this case could actually face the death penalty. Now, there are folks who are still concerned about their safety on the Charlotte transit system. The feds are also weighing in on that horrific crime. Now, 34-year-old Carlos Brown, who's already facing a first-degree murder charge in state court, now federal prosecutors have stepped up with an additional case. Brown accused of using a knife to kill 23-year-old Irina Zaruska at the South End Light Rail Station last month. That stabbing, of course, sending shockwaves through Charlotte, raising new concerns about safety for its riders who depend on the Blue Line every day. City leaders have called for stronger security measures, while CMPD has increased patrols around transit stops. Now, federal investigators say Brown was not legally allowed to have the weapon that he used in the attack, which led to the federal weapons charge, as U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson emotionally explained.
This is obviously a horrible, horrible situation. But this is why federal statutes exist. They exist to take care of situations like this because no one should sit in fear when they sit on the light rail.
Yeah, and of course the investigations both locally and federally are continuing. Of course, if Brown is convicted, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars locally. Those federal charges could also mean that he could be put to death. We're right here in the South End. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
Wow. Now, some are saying that this was racially motivated because of this video. That is my main thinking of why everybody's saying this. So this video is after he stabbed the victim. As you can see, he said, "I got that white girl." And that is what's making people say that this is a racially motivated attack. Now, let's go over into this next video. And let's get into it.
Family of Irina Zarutska says that she actually sent a text to her boyfriend letting him know that she would be home soon. And that was right after she got onto the train at this stop late at night. But of course, she never made it home. A lot of people I talk to use this train every single day say they are shocked from hearing about the deadly stabbing.
I've gotten so used to the area that I was like, oh, it's safe. Like, I can be on my phone. But now I only go on my phone to buy my ticket. And I'm like trying to be aware of the people walking around me and definitely not going at night anymore.
Always, yes, have your head on a swivel. That is smart. Have your head on a swivel.
And
it's terrible, but I don't think putting in turnstiles would have changed the outcome, because he could have just paid his fee, came onto the train. I think they ought to reevaluate how they grade the criminals and let them go.
Yeah.
Within minutes of Zarutska sitting down on the train, the suspect sitting behind her wearing a red hoodie stood up. Police say he stabbed her several times, one of those hitting her in the neck. Then he walked off, and nearby passengers watched as Zarutska slumped out of her seat. Zarutska's family is demanding a full investigation into what led up to her death. They also want to know if there were security failures with the transit system.
And public transportation has become an epidemic of violence and homelessness across the country. I can't pull money today from their transit system. I actually have to do an investigation. That's what the law requires. We start that investigation tomorrow, and I guarantee all your viewers that if I find what I think I'm going to find, they are not going to have your federal tax dollars going to their public.
Absolutely crazy. But let's go over it. So we also have to look at the judge. So it looks like that a lot of people are saying that it's the judge's fault because she released him 7 months prior. So let's get over into this video and see what it's all
There was also a horrible killing recently in Charlotte, where I talked about, and so many others, and we're going to get to the end of it. And, you know, when you have horrible killings, you have to take horrible actions.
A North Carolina judge is under fire for releasing a man who later killed a Ukrainian refugee. Magistrate Judge Teresa Stokes released Carlos Brown Jr. without bond, despite his history of mental illness and prior arrests. 7 months later, Brown stabbed Irina Zarutska to death on a light rail train. Zarutska had fled Ukraine seeking safety in the U.S. Even Brown's own mother said the court system failed by releasing him. Stokes is not a licensed attorney, which is permissible for magistrates in North Carolina. Critics are questioning whether her background in addiction recovery activism influenced her decisions. Some are calling for an investigation. A legal expert says Stokes didn't adequately consider the danger Brown posed. The district attorney acknowledges systemic failures in handling mentally ill offenders due to a shortage of psychiatric beds. Republicans are using this case to criticize soft-on-crime policies. Brown is now in custody awaiting trial for Zarutska's murder.
So everybody's thinking that it's the judge's fault. But let's get over into see what do we know about Brown himself. So let me zoom in some for everybody so we can all see it. All right, so what we know, no, get that out of here. What we know about Brown. So Brown had previously been arrested 14 times, convicted of larceny, breaking and entering, robbery with a dangerous weapon. He spent more than 5 years in prison on the robbery charge. According to his sister, he didn't seem like himself after his release in 2020. He started saying weird things. Brown's mother told WSOC in Charlotte he started saying that he wasn't in his body. Suddenly, Brown was struggling to conduct simple conversations with his sister. Conversations his sister told CNN he couldn't keep a job. And sometimes he would become aggressive, even going so far in 2022 as to bite her and break the hinges off a door. Brown's sister decided not to file charges because she knew he was battling something. So some kind of mental illness. That's what it sounds like. Instead, Brown's family tried to get him help for his mental health issues, but their attempts failed. Brown's mother told WSOC that after her son became aggressive, she got an involuntary commitment order from the courts. Brown was monitored for 2 weeks and diagnosed with schizophrenia. But she was unable to place him in a long-term facility because she is not his legal guardian. Soon he had become so violent and erratic that she left with no other choice but to kick him out the house. In January, Brown asked Charlotte police to investigate a man-made material that controlled when he ate, walked, and talked. According to the court documents, the officers told Brown there was an issue. The issue was medical, insisting that there was nothing more they can do, and that he was upset. He called 911 from the local health center. Police then charged Brown with misuse of 911, a Class 1 felony, a Class 1 misdemeanor. He was released after promising in writing that he would appear for his next hearing, according to the court records. But in July, Brown's public defender made a motion questioning Brown's capacity to contribute to his own defense. The judge ordered a psychological evaluation. Meanwhile, Brown was living on the streets. Days before the stabbing, he showed up at his mother's house. According to CNN, he asked to stay the night. The next morning, Brown's mother dropped him off at the shelter a few miles from the station. She hugged him, told him that she loved him, then headed to church. In the recording of August 28th phone call between Brown and his sister shared with the Daily Mail, Brown can be heard telling his sister that the material in his body, telling his sister it was the material in his body that had killed Zaruska. I hurt my hand stabbing her. I don't even know the lady. I never said not one word to the lady at all. That's scary, ain't it? Why would somebody stab someone for no reason? Brown reportedly says on the call. Out of all the people, why her? His sister responded. She's from the Ukraine. She's from Russia. And they had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand, of all people, why her? They just lashed out at her. That's what happens, Brown said. Whoever was working the material, they lashed out on her. That's all there is to it. Now they really got to investigate what my body was exposed to. Now they got to do an investigation. Brown's sister told the Daily Mail that her brother was a high risk and should not have been free to ride on the train. He was not in his right mind. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. He had a lot of problems. It sounds like he had a lot of problems, but those problems can't take away from the fact of what he did. So he needs to be in jail and held accountable for his actions. And whatever the court see fit to what that accountability is, yeah, let the courts see. That is their job, is to decide what the right punishment is for the crime. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. But that is what we know is what's happening right now with the Charlotte light rail stabbing. Now we got to pivot over to a 13-year-old. We got to go over to a 13-year-old who ended up having a murder plot and had a lot of guns. So let's get over into that and see what all this was about. It's at 13 years old already planning to unalive someone and then having so many guns that he had access to. It's a wild thing to think about, but let's see what's all this talk.
But we begin tonight in Pierce County, where authorities say they have disrupted a major school shooting plot. So glad you're with us. Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Esteban. That suspect in this case, just 13 years old. Pierce County deputies arrested him, and police say a search led to a large quantity of firearms and loaded magazines with, quote, school shooter writings on them. I want to get right to Como's Ryan Sims. He's live at the Pierce County Sheriff's Office for us tonight. And Ryan, deputies say the timing here just so critical.
Yeah, they say it was in the nick of time, and they say that this is the result of seeing something and saying something. They say it was a tip that really helped crack open this entire investigation, and a very disturbing one at that. According to deputies, that 13-year-old suspect is not currently a student in any of the Pierce County schools. In fact, they say he has not been enrolled in any local school districts for 4 years now. Yet, thanks to that tip, deputies say they uncovered evidence that suggests this teen had a hit list of possible people he wanted to kill, and that he was going to carry out that plot at least one school here in the South Sound. Overnight, though, SWAT teams raided that teen's house. Inside, they say they found a trove of guns, many of which were loaded and unsecured. They also say they uncovered a possible manifesto detailing this school shooting plot. Offering perspective on this case is the spokesperson for the Pierce County Sheriff's Office. We should mention that she is also a former school resource officer, and she told us this is a situation in a case that stands out given her experience.
I will say from the 4 years of my experience, this was something major that was going to happen. It was very obvious. It was a matter of time before people were going to be hurt.
At this time, deputies have not yet said which schools may have been the target of this plot. Other than guns and disturbing notes, deputies say a check of the suspect's house also turned up clothing that could have been worn during an attack. And the big question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking, what happens to the parents or the guardians of this teen? After all, again, they did find loaded magazines inside this house. They found unsecured guns. We've asked the Sheriff's Department what may happen and if any charges that parent or guardian could face. At this time, the answer is unknown, so we'll keep asking all as that teen is locked up at Juvenile Hall. Come to you live from Puyallup tonight. Ryan Sims, Como News.
Yeah.
Absolutely wow. Let's get over into another video about this. Wow.
To Washington now, where police say they seized 23 guns from the home of a 13-year-old who appeared to be fixated on school shooters. Police arrested the teen after finding some disturbing social media posts. Yesterday, he pleaded not guilty to charges of unlawful firearms possession and making a threat. Let's go to CBS News reporter Andres Gutierrez covering the story for us. Andres, what did deputies find and why did they act so quickly?
Well, Elizabeth, a possible tragedy was averted all because someone saw something and said something. Let's take you back to Friday. That's when Pierce County Sheriff deputies received a tip that a 13-year-old was online making threats that he had guns. About 12 hours later, at 1 a.m. Saturday, SWAT members showed up to the kid's house in Parkland, Washington. Inside, deputies found 23 weapons. You could see them right there on your screen. 8 handguns, 2 shotguns, and the rest of them semi-automatic rifles. Some of them were in a safe, but many, according to authorities, were out in the open, mounted on walls or left around the house. As you can imagine, there were also several boxes of ammo. And here is the disturbing bit. They also found loaded magazines inscribed with references to the Columbine massacre on them. This was allegedly found inside the teen's go bag. Investigators say the teen had also posted photos of himself holding guns online and posted on Telegram, quote, "When I turn 21, I'm going to kill people." He was also fixated on attacks like the 2017 Charleston church shooting and the 2022 school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Deputies believed it was only a matter of time unless they intervened.
Yeah.
Enough writings from that suspect that would conclude essentially some harm was going to be coming to individuals.
And now, while this boy did reference school shootings online, investigators say he did not have plans to attack a specific school. Get this, he actually himself has not been inside a school building since 2021, since he was 9 years old. He's been homeschooled since then. Right now, he is sitting inside a juvenile detention center there in Washington State after, as you said, he made his first court appearance yesterday afternoon. He will be back in front of a judge for a detention review, is what they call it, later this month.
Absolutely crazy. He hasn't been in school since he was 9 years old, and he had a plan to just go to a random school. Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going into this video.
Just listening to the details of this case and looking at just the arsenal that this 13-year-old kid had, you got to wonder, how did he purchase those weapons? I mean, what about the parents and safe storage? Could they also be charged in this?
Well,
100%.
Right now, they're looking into this, Elizabeth. It's all under review. I did talk to the sheriff deputy that you heard from moments ago. I talked to her this afternoon, and she ended up telling me that social media posts from the teen would suggest that he did have access to the gun safes, and he posted images of the safe open with the weapons that he was holding at the time that photo was taken. And so there is state law there in Washington that parents can be charged after the fact if the minor gets to a gun and it ends up leading to harm or a credible threat. And there are around the country other rules that vary from state to state, that some states require locks at any time that a gun isn't under control, and others only end up penalizing the parents if the child actually gets a hold of one. So for right now, the parents in this case, they're still out and about. They probably have lawyered up by now. Investigators continue to talk with them. I did talk to the prosecutor's office this afternoon, and they are at this point waiting for the case file to be sent over to them so they can do a complete review and figure out whether or not the parents will in fact be charged or not in this particular case.
So that is a good point. I don't know, since they were tipped off before anything happened, I don't know if the parents can be charged. They might it'll be something small, like maybe not securing their firearms, but I don't know. I don't know if they can be charged at all, but it looks like, let's go over into this next video. Looks like that he ended up pleading, just found this, pleads not guilty.
Developing now, a 13-year-old boy accused of having mass shooting iterations pled not guilty in court today. Only Como was there as the young teenager faced a judge. He was arrested Saturday night at his home in Pierce County after police say tipsters reported concerning social media posts the boy allegedly made. The sheriff's office says they confiscated dozens of weapons, including loaded magazines with school shooting writings. Como's Michelle Esteban was in court and just spoke to the teen's parents. Michelle?
Yeah, I can tell you that his mother was in court, his father outside of court. I spoke to both of them briefly off camera. His mother and father just beside themselves. They insist that this is all blown out of proportion. They say that their son was just trying to be cool and edgy with some of his social media posts, that he's a good kid, and that they believe that he had no intention of hurting anyone. But court documents, they allege something very different. They said that the teen made statements and posted online indicating that he had a possible interest in committing a mass shooting. Now, only Como was in the courtroom. Take a look when that teen went before a judge. The 13-year-old said he understood the charges. He was quiet in court, kept his head down. He pleaded not guilty. We typically don't identify juveniles at this point in a proceeding. The judge asked us not to show his face on camera. Judge Evans did find probable cause for 5 counts, including one for a threat to bomb or injure property. Most of the other charges were for unlawful possession of a firearm. The teen was arrested Saturday around 1 in the morning after concerns that he was plotting a mass shooting, possibly at a school. Police and SWAT surrounded the family's Pierce County home, arrested the teen. They also confiscated a large amount of weapons, handguns, long guns. Police say even a loaded magazine with school shooting writings on it. Court filings allege they confiscated evidence that shows the suspect idolized previous mass shooters, including those responsible for Columbine, and that his social media post indicated a possible interest, as I mentioned, in committing a mass shooting, which is why authorities thought initially a school might be targeted. Now they're saying it's really not clear what the intended target may have been, but they felt danger was imminent.
And
that's understandable.
The suspect's bedroom, loads of ammunition that was located
in his bedroom,
inscriptions around the room and on the walls, including just everything that would check a box for a mass shooting incident.
Now, it was a collection of social media posts and writings that got the attention of police after it got the attention of the community. There were a number of tips that went to the Pierce County Sheriff's Office. They got that Friday around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 1 a.m. Saturday morning, this teen was in custody. But one of the things they say back out here live that really is pressing and was important in this case is that message that they constantly harp on, which is if you see something, say something. And Mary, they really believe that is what led to this arrest. The case far from over, but this teen remaining in detention tonight for at least 2 weeks when he'll be back here in court at Raymond Hall.
Yeah, exactly. They're exactly right. See something, say something. But it's what can lead a 13-year-old to be thinking about becoming a mass. It says that they said he idolized school shooters in the past. What can make a 13-year-old do this? You got to investigate the parents. That's my thinking. You need to investigate the parents, because at 13 years old, first of all, why did he have access to so many guns? I'm fine with teaching your kids how to shoot. I plan to, when I have kids, teach my son how to shoot or daughter how to shoot. But you still have to be careful. You have to tell them the right way to use a gun. You got to have right safeties on the gun. But they said he had magazines in his room. He idolized school shooters. There's a lot of things to where the parents need to be investigated. That's my thinking, but absolutely crazy. I'm happy that, yes, see something, say something. I'm happy that the community came, gave them a tip saying that this does not look right and they don't feel right about it. And they most likely stopped a potential school shooting. Just sound he idolized. It's bound to happen. At least that was my thinking. But we'll see what he gets charged with. We'll see what they go through and what they finally end up charging him with. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know what your thinking is. Do you think the parents should be held responsible for this since he was 13 years old? Should they have been more in on his life, or did they even care? Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. But we will keep up with this story. But let's pivot over into Chicago. We gotta go to Chicago. Looks like the Louis Vuitton store in Chicago was ransacked. So we already know there's a lot of things always happening in Chicago. So let's go over into that and see what it's talking about.
Well, this is a still active crime scene, as you can tell. Police still here taking whatever information and as well as crime scene evidence that they can gather. As you see this pickup truck that is basically halfway out of the Louis Vuitton store. This may have been a crash and grab. Police have not yet confirmed that. What we're being told at this point is that this is one of 3 particular scenes that occurred earlier this morning. Now, we do have some video, some cell phone video from a witness that actually witnessed this happening. Cell phone video from a camera captured moments thieves rammed a vehicle into this luxury store. Then you see a group of people dressed in dark clothing go into the store and then run out of the store with stolen items. That's when you also notice that there are people that have driven up in other vehicles or those that were already parked. The folks that ran out of the store then jump into those cars and they speed away. Now, as I mentioned before, it is still unclear if these particular scenes, this one here in Walton and Michigan, the one in Ohio and Michigan, and then another scene down on southbound Lakeshore Drive near Roosevelt, if they are in any way all connected. Police have not confirmed that, but we do still have 3 particular scenes. What we know is that this appears to be a crash and grab that kind of started all of this, and then I guess basically appears to have migrated south on Michigan Avenue, but we're still waiting to get more information on that. Let us throw it to Diane in traffic just to get some more information there. Diane, what do you know right now?
And that's exactly what we've been trying to piece together, Evelyn, is if these scenes are all connected. So I'm just going to break down what this second scene looks like. So Evelyn is at the first scene. Then we've got the second scene at Michigan and Ohio. Let's go to some video that we got for you earlier this morning from our photographer, Dave. So you see the white vehicle overturned, very serious damage done to that SUV. We also have a dark colored sedan involved in this crash as well. Lots of damage done to that vehicle too. We understand from this scene that there were several people injured. We don't have an exact number. We don't have extent of injuries, but several people injured from this scene at Michigan and Ohio. We've got a third scene, if we can go to our live picture from our photographer, Paul Martinez, along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, where we initially had all lanes blocked southbound at Randolph, but you can see from this live picture that the 2 left lanes are getting by. Authorities are concentrating on this vehicle, where you see all 4 doors have been opened. I don't know if the people inside ran off or got caught. We're not sure about that. We're not even sure exactly why they're looking into this vehicle. We have unconfirmed reports of where this vehicle was used and how, but that has not been confirmed by authorities. So again, multiple scenes here with a lot of police activity within the downtown area and now migrating south to, obviously, DuSable Lakeshore Drive. So Tracy, we've got a lot going on here. We're trying to confirm this information with authorities, so stay with us. And of course, as soon as we get any kind of new information, we'll bring that to you.
Wow. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But let's go over into this article so we can learn a bit more about this. So let's get into it. Let's go over into this article. So it says driver killed, at least 5 hurt at Louis Vuitton smash and grab, traffic crash in Street. So a man was killed and at least 5 were injured in a traffic crash sparked by a smash and grab burglary at Louis Vuitton on North Michigan Avenue on Thursday morning. A group of at least 9 thieves crashed a pickup truck in the Louis Vuitton boutique at 919 North Michigan Avenue around 4:55 a.m. The group broke into the store and took items from inside before fleeing the store and other vehicles and leaving the pickup truck behind. The pickup truck had to have been stolen. As 5 of them sped away in a Kia, gotta be a stolen Kia. They crashed into an eastbound Honda CRV at Ohio Street in Michigan. So that's the first crash we looked at. The driver of the Honda was not related to the burglary crew and was taken to the North Memorial Hospital where he was pronounced dead. His name has not been released. That's just driving about your way, and then you never know what can happen. The fire department initially said that 3 males were taken to the North Memorial Hospital, while 3 additional males were taken to a Stroger Hospital, all in serious condition. A dark colored Ram pickup with the front doors open that had jumped the curb was still on the sidewalk near the shattered windows at Louis Vuitton. So that's the nearby mangled vehicles included flipped over SUVs remaining in the middle of the road at Ohio and Michigan. Passengers in a CTA bus pulled out their phones to record as passerbyers appeared frustrated as their path was blocked. Yeah, people gonna be mad. One student muttered, "How am I supposed to get to class?" You don't. Jesus, absolutely crazy, absolutely tragic. That man lost his life. Rosa Womingborough, I'm not good at that name, has lived downtown for 2 years and woke up to the crash. We were sleeping. I heard a big boom, and there was a lot of police here. Candy and her sister were walking along Michigan Avenue and stopped to see what was going on. My heart fell to the ground. Who has worked downtown for over 2 years? This is catastrophic. Yeah. Let's see. Police said that the rest of the group fled in Infinity. They lost control while traveling south on Dusube Lakeshore Drive. 4 people got out of the vehicle, and that was the last video, the last scene that we were shown. And the officers managed to place 2 in custody. Stolen merchandise was found inside the Infinity. Police said the smash and grab and crash marked the latest in string of downtown incidents over the last week. Wednesday morning, a Brinks armored car guard shot an alleged robber who grabbed the money bag and fled. Last Friday, 6 months. EC, absolutely crazy. So that one thing of them trying to steal from Louis Vuitton, ended up in a crash and a man lost his life. We got to pray for him. And ended up just more craziness. Absolutely crazy. Wow. Absolutely wow, y'all. Tell me your thoughts. I'm going to say this again. Is the National Guard needed? Do they need to bring in the National Guard? Some people will know. If you looked up, I think most recently G Herbo said, yeah, bring him in. He's fine with it. He wants to protect them. We need to do what we can to protect the kids. Yeah, so understandable to me. But absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Like I always say, let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We gotten past the hour mark, so please remember to hit that like button, subscribe, that notification bell, so you can be up to date with all the stuff. But let's go over it. We're going to need to pivot now. We're going to pivot over into a restaurant owner. So it seems a restaurant owner is pleading for help after people just came in and started beating up an employee. I don't know what it was about, but it's got the restaurant owner pleading for help. So let's get over into that and see what all this is about.
The owner of a Southside restaurant expressing her frustrations tonight after a series of attacks at her business, a business that's only been open for a few months.
WGN's Jenna Barnes is at the restaurant on East 87th Street with surveillance video of those attacks. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Micah and Ben. Yeah, the owner of this Fat Burger tells us that this building was vacant for more than a decade before she brought the business to Chatham here, and she's determined to stay here despite the crime. Tonight, she's calling out parents.
It's so heartbreaking watching on the surveillance camera, them running for their lives.
That surveillance video shows 2 back-to-back incidents inside the new Fat Burger in Chatham. In the first, one employee fights off an attacker who came behind the counter. That was in December. Then in January, more people jumping over the counter and causing problems.
But thank God to a customer who was a concealed carrier, he pulled out his gun and he scared them off.
The owner, Jackie Jackson, said she initially kept the videos to herself because she didn't want the negative attention, but she chose to release them this week with a message for parents.
It's just very challenging, and I believe the problem starts at home. The home needs to be the foundation.
Yes.
The parents need to be the leader. The parents needs to be the educator, and the parents 100%. Need to be the kid's hero. If that foundation is not built, it's going to spill over into the school system. It's going to spill over into the businesses, and then eventually it's going to the streets. So
yeah, she is one. I'm not going to pause it too much, but she is 100% correct. I've said this before. The first line of teaching your kids, first line of making sure that we stop all this juvenile crime, this juvenile violence, is the parents need to take a hold of their children. They have to discipline them. They have to teach them. They have to guide them in the right ways to where they grow up and knowing right. I'm assuming they know what's right from wrong, but at least being able to, I don't know how to say it, control themselves or just not want to be one of the people going crazy out here. But oh my God, now it brings back up another point. Well, we looked at that one town, so I'll go back and look at that video, but they are debating, or they are thinking about having the parents charged for crimes of the kids that actually keep committing crimes. You might have to, because if the parents don't want to control their kids, and some parents don't, so we understand that some parents don't want to control, don't even care to control the kids, or some are teaching them the bad ways in general. They need to be charged for what they do. If they can't charge a juvenile, they got to charge. Maybe they charge a juvenile and the parent. Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going into this.
So we need to do something as a community and hold the parents accountable.
She says she's doing her part by employing high school students, giving them the same opportunity she used to launch her career as an entrepreneur. She also owns 7 Kilwins locations.
So they just not only have a job, but they can also inspire to own a Fat Burger and a Kilwins just like I did. It doesn't take a person with a lot of money. It takes faith, resilience, and hustle.
Since the incidents, Jackson has added a window to the counter, tall fences, and an even better security system. Chicago police even stopped by today. Business, though, is still struggling. She's had to lay off some of those employees.
We want her to thrive because guess what? We want her to come to the 17th Ward.
Alderman of the nearby 17th Ward, David Moore, says working to support one business can have a positive impact in neighboring communities.
There was a time back in the day where this type of stuff wouldn't happen because we protected our own interests within, right? We wouldn't tear up what we have in our communities, right? Which is why these type of establishments are scared to come into communities these days.
I'm never giving up. I'm never closing.
Chicago police tell us they are still investigating that December incident. No one has been arrested. In an effort to generate business here, philanthropist Early Walker says he and a business partner will cover the cost of the first 100 burgers sold here on Friday and Saturday. We're live in Chatham tonight. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Absolutely. Like, what can they do? If the community is not stopping the kids, or it's not stopping the kids from just going in and wrecking the place, what is going to cause businesses to come there? If crime keeps happening in a certain area, businesses will either leave or not, or just not go there in general. I mean, that's just simple common sense to me, at least. Just think about it. I mean, what kind of business owner would go to a place that would constantly get robbed? There's constantly people trying to go in and fight, go in and start an argument, or break down the doors. And no business owner is going to want to do that. Why? Because they're losing money. They put all their money into the restaurant, or some people did. They're not going to want to put it in an area that's not safe for the business. That's not looking after their looking after interests of just normal citizens, of crime going down. So I can understand why. Please, at the end of the day, parents, please teach your kids better, because if we teach our kids better, they'll grow up to be good adults, and that's one of the best ways to stop crime in the future. At least that's my thinking. But tell me if you think I'm wrong. If you think that just teaching our kids better and holding them, disciplining them more would be enough to help the future. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But let's go over this. This next video shocked me, just the image of it. But looks like a trash house. Yes, I said a trash house. I don't know what that means, but a trash house. So let's get over into it and see what it's talking about. Like I said, we already had a minute and a half, hour and a half, so we got a little bit more to go. So it's going to be a longer video today, but hope you enjoy it. Let's get right into it. Trash house.
Now at noon, after a massive cleanup effort by the city last year, the so-called trash house is once again surrounded by piles of debris. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at Noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Concerned neighbors have been complaining for years about the home, calling it an eyesore and a fire hazard.
Despite attempts to get the situation under control, the resident continues to collect trash. KTLA 5's Annie Rose Ramos live now in the Fairfax district with the details. Annie Rose?
Oh, that's nasty. There's no way.
Lou, Glenn, that's exactly right. The trash is back. This problem proving to be a persistent one, particularly for this neighborhood. Some homes right here on the street in multi-million-dollar homes, and right next door at this house that is being dubbed the trash house, the trash piling up yet again. Now, this is a live look from here on the ground where I'm standing off Martel Avenue, but we also want to go up above our Sky 5, flying over the home so you can get a better idea about the trash that's not only piling up in the front yard of this home and in the driveway, but also the backyard too. You can see it really just overflowing this entire area. Now, as you mentioned before, this is not the first time we have seen this problem at this home. We actually have a side-by-side look at this because KTLA first brought you the story of what people are calling the trash house a little over a year ago, back in April of 2024. You could see back then trash was piled up around this home, sparking outrage in the community and prompting that massive cleanup effort by city crews in hazmat suits. And then look at the images on the right-hand side of your screen. That's from this morning. We can see the trash is back again. We spoke to neighbors about it this morning. Take a listen.
I think it's absurd. I think that this person, I mean, within days we're happy because finally it was like, oh, the house is back to normal. I feel bad for all the neighbors that have, you know, beautiful mansions next to him. But I thought like the problem was like, you know, he was an old man and couldn't do it himself. So when the city came out to give a hand, I'm like, okay, so now he has no excuses now. Because I know the guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I see him. So he's up. I take my kid to school up the street, and he's up there like 6 blocks away on the opposite side, digging through trash.
So he brings the trash?
All right, back in April of 2024, the city sent sanitation workers, some wearing hazmat suits, to help with removing the mountains of debris from the home. We're talking mountains of trash. Even a car was under some of these items of debris. The owner of the house is a 70-year-old man named Raymond Gaillon, a family representative now speaking out on his behalf, saying he is a veteran and he's collecting a lot of these items to recycle them. Now, we also spoke to his sister.
You know, I don't like to pause it too much, but man, come on now. This thing is like some kind of like OCD hoarding type issue that you see like the hoarding shows. Because I don't understand how it can get that bad. And they said it happened a year ago. The city had to come out with some people with hazmat shoes to come and clean it up, but then it piled up a year later, just back in basically around the same amount. There's so many. Oh my God, that's nasty. But he might be going through some kind of mental issues or something like that, like OCD or hoarding disorder. So, but we don't know. But there's the potential for disease, the potential for any kind of tripping hazard. This is gonna be a very tragic thing. Fire hazards. They need to go and talk to this man. They need to sit down. They need to sit down with him. Maybe give him a mental health evaluation. They got to do something. Why do you keep bringing the trash? They said that he's a very veteran. And he's bringing these to recycle, but come on, I don't know if you can believe that, but someone has to talk to him. Someone has to give him a mental an evaluation for his mental health, his mental faculties. Something has to be done to where they help this man, because it's a problem. It's a very problem. So let's keep going.
Last year, who expressed concerns about his mental health.
What did I just say?
Those are bottles he's collected. That's what he does, and that's how he makes money.
Are you concerned about his mental health at the moment?
He's autistic. He's always been like that.
I'm going to be talking to the county officials and figure out how we get care for him. Because again, we can't just view this as a situation of an individual that compiled trash. This is an individual that is in crisis.
Now we are hearing from...
At the end of the day, they got to do something. They have to do something because you can't have him piling up trash. I don't know if you need to put him in a home or something, but they cannot have him piling up trash because that breeds diseases, infections, if anything happened, tripping hazard, fire hazard, anything like that. Yeah, they got to do something.
Now we are hearing from council member Katie Yaroslavsky's office, who represents this area. Her spokesperson saying in part, neighbors have lived with a health and safety hazard for far too long, and it is completely unacceptable. Our office has pushed LADBS, the city attorney, and the county for more than a year, flagging every complaint from neighbors and demanding updates on every court hearing. This case shows how slow and fragmented the system is. Now, Lou and Glenn, I just got off the phone with this woman who is claiming to be a representative for Ray, who lives in this home. She is coming over to this area in order to speak to us on his behalf. He says he is distraught. He doesn't want to speak to any members of the media, that he is, again, reiterating, collecting all of these items to recycle them. And that is how he earns money, which is what we also heard from Ray's sister last year. So we hope to hear from this representative soon. And once we do, we will bring that to you right here on KTLA. For now, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
I mean, like I said, he cannot keep having all this trash around. Yes, he might be going through some kind of mental health issue, and they need to find help for him. But they got to stop the trash immediately. At least that's my thinking. Stop that. Stop him hoarding trash immediately. Yes, I understand that's how you make money. But you cannot keep bringing piles and piles of trash and just leaving them. Rats, anything like that. Oh my God. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I wasn't expecting to see that. I truly wasn't. Now they said that a spokesperson. So let's see if we can find that really quickly. Let's see. I don't think I can't find that, but they got to do something. At the end of the day, they have to do something. They cannot keep letting him pile up trash. They already tried that 1 year ago. They cleaned it up. The city came there, spent money, cleaned it up. Some of them had to have hazmat. They needed to have hazmat suits on, but a year later, back to where it was. So obviously, them just coming and cleaning up, nah, they got to do something. They got to stop it immediately. I can't imagine if that was my neighbor. I truly can't. But let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. How would you feel if that was your neighbor? A year ago, I don't know how long it was piled up before they even came a year ago. But I bet some of the neighbors just got used to it. The smell. Oh my God, I can't imagine. But we'll keep up to date to see on what happens with that. See if they do anything. Put them in a mental health facility. Might even charge them. I don't know. But they got to do something. They have to do something. So this happened in LA. So we're still in LA. We got to go over to I don't know, everybody's seen it, but the LA port shipping containers that fell into the water. And some of the Temu and the Shein, all the orders are on backlog. Sounds like I'm just saying that, but yeah, a bunch of shipping containers fell into the water. We got a few videos to watch at that, but let's jump over into it and see what it's talking about.
More breaking news right now to get to in the port of Long Beach, where more than 50 containers fell off of a cargo ship into the water.
And you saw it right here first on ABC 7. No one was reported injured, but the mishap has forced the temporary suspension of cargo operations. This is a live view from Air 7. Crews are working to remove the containers from the water. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth is live at the port with the breaking developments right now. Leo.
Yeah, my friend, and those crews are working at a feverish pace. Over my shoulder here is the cargo ship. That's where the issue is happening. And one of the things that they wanted to do was stabilize the ship, because within the last 30 minutes to an hour, more of those cargo containers have been falling off that ship on the port side because the tide is rising. And of course, there's a bunch of those cargo containers in the ocean, and those work crews in the ocean trying to retrieve those cargo containers. Here's more on the story.
Stuff inside of them is probably ruined.
Oh, what's going on the stacks?
Eyewitness News obtaining this video showing cargo containers falling off this cargo ship like dominoes this morning just before 9. The rumbling sound of the falling containers setting off alarm bells for the ship's crew.
Yeah,
work crews on the ground at the port of Long Beach. Nearly 24 of the containers plunging into the ocean at Pier G. Others toppling over dockside at the berth. More than 50 containers either smacking into the ground port side or splashing into the ocean. The radio chatter sounding off during the mayhem. It appears some of the overturned containers were filled with merchandise like sandals, which we saw floating in the ocean.
Looks like we've got about 15 or
You
more
ordered some sandals.
in the water. We're going to head back and get a secondary boat to see if we can push some of these around.
Port police arriving, spraying the area to keep the containers in the water from floating away. Port officials either don't know yet or are not saying what caused the mishap. Richard Folks is an iron worker at the port who's been on the job for several years. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, we had a gentleman who works at here tell us, he said, like, man, I've seen maybe 2 or 3 containers topple over, but dozens of containers toppling over into the ocean. He said that's something different.
Yeah, I believe it. I would say 1 or 2 would be an accident, you know, just getting a little too fast with the crane, but something like this is probably a major error somewhere.
Our Eyewitness News camera recording more cargo containers sliding off the ship, smacking into the ground at the port. This happening several hours after the first containers became dislodged, sliding off the ship. Port officials mobilizing to undergo a head count for the ship's crew, ensuring they were all accounted for and safe. Was this a major debacle?
Yeah, absolutely. It probably maybe a couple weeks or a month just to get everything sorted out, I would guess. It's just a matter of time and money. But as far as the cleanup, it's going to take people out there hooking up each one of those boxes individually to get them off. And so it will be a dangerous job.
A lot of work, a lot of money.
And again, one of the biggest things that work crews out here wanted to do was stabilize that cargo ship, preventing those containers from toppling over. And we have not heard any of those containers coming off that ship in the last 30 minutes or so. And the silver lining here, despite this mess, is that the crew, every one of them apparently, has been accounted for and they are safe. Live at the Port of Long Beach, Leo Stallworth, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Just incredible video, and you answered my question. I was wondering if in the last 30 minutes we had seen more of them coming down, but certainly there is that risk. Leo, thank you. We continue our team coverage with Chris Christie. He's live at Air 7 with that view from above. Chris.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Really fortunate that nobody was hurt here this morning, but what a fiasco here at the port. You can see cargo containers all over the place here, still dangling off the side of that Mississippi Madeira, a Portuguese registered cargo ship. You can see containers all around the ship. This happens all the time at sea, but very rarely does it happen in port. I just spoke with a worker here at the port just moments ago. He tells me he has worked at this port for 35 years, has never seen anything like this, but he did say that investigators are eyeing the possibility that there was a balancing issue with the ballast inside of that ship. The ship was listing at the time that those cargo containers started to spill over, and may very well be what caused this accident. Obviously, a major investigation underway here at the Port of Long Beach. Reporting live from Air 7.
A major investigation. Someone's getting fired. We got to be honest. Someone is getting fired. Let's go over to this next video. Oh, absolutely crazy.
Here at home, the U.S. Coast Guard is continuing its investigation into what caused scores of containers to fall off a cargo ship in the Port of Long Beach. And now we're hearing from one business owner who had products on board that ship. NBC4's Tracy Leong is at the port for us tonight with the impact and where that cleanup stands. Tracy.
Yeah, Carolyn, the U.S. Coast Guard says there are still about 30 containers underwater they need to retrieve. And as you mentioned, I spoke to one business owner. He had products on this ship, and so far he says he's just desperate for any answers. He doesn't know if his container is on board, in the water, or even damaged.
Cleanup continues at the port of Long Beach after 75 shipping containers tumbled off the cargo ship Mississippi and into the water at Pier G Tuesday morning.
I've been watching the Mississippi going across the sea, waiting for my boxes to come. So yesterday when I heard the news that there was this accident, I right away went online and found out that, yes, my containers on this boat.
Jonathan Graham owns Compartes Chocolates in Los Angeles. He had about 50,000 packages and boxes for his holiday chocolate line and advent calendars on board in a shipping container.
They're not telling us if our containers were affected or not. That's really the heartbreaking part, because I don't know what to do.
There were about 2,400 containers with general cargo from China on board the Mississippi. The U.S. Coast Guard is still investigating what caused the cargo to fall off, and all operations have been suspended while they work to stabilize the remaining containers. Officials say this spill also damaged the ship, and there's a light oil sheen in the water they're working to clean up.
Wow.
We believe that it could be coming either from the generator on board the barge or the tank. And we have an oil spill response organization on scene to do the best that they can to prevent the sheen from spreading.
As Graham waits for answers, he's also worried about the potential financial impact, since he makes more than 50% of his sales for the year during the holiday season.
They don't know when the cargo is going to be released. So I think it's the fact that you just don't know all these variables that make it very difficult in the moment.
And Carolyn, there's no timeline on when this investigation will wrap up or the cleanup will be finished. Graham also tells me he paid a premium to get his items shipped on the Mississippi because it guarantees they'll arrive before the holidays, and it's faster than any other ship. Reporting live in Long Beach, Tracy Lingong, NBC4 News.
They said he paid a premium to get it on that ship. And I don't know if you have insurance on a cargo that's coming in from China. Yeah, I don't know if you'll get any of your money back. Now tell me if I'm wrong, but that financial hit for everyone. The ship, because then first of all, they're not going to release your goods. And then you don't know when you're going to get your goods. That's one thing. You don't know if you don't know if your containers were some of the ones that fell into the water, or all your containers were the ones that fell into the water. That's another thing. Then you got the amount of money it's going to take for the cleanup. And then you got people who are going to definitely lose their jobs. I don't know how many people, but I'm thinking someone's going to lose their job. 75 shipping containers fell into the water. They don't know why it happened. They're still investigating, but absolutely wild, y'all. Absolutely wild. Let me know your thoughts. Do you know if they have insurance on shipping containers? I would like to know, but I would like to it, but I don't know if I think it's that the business owner is just going to have to take a hit. Golly. But somebody, like, at the end of the day, I'm thinking somebody's going to get fired. Somebody's going to get fired. Multiple people might get fired. But, absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Now let's pivot over into Dallas. So we got to go over to Dallas. Something crazy happened in Dallas. And a Dallas motel beheading. Yes, I said it right. A beheading. I haven't seen anything like this on the news. Have I? I don't think I've reviewed anything like a beheading. Oh my God, absolutely crazy. But let's get over into it and see what all this is about. We got 2 videos to look at about what exactly happened. And it seems like, let's get into
Police say a 37-year-old is facing a capital murder charge for allegedly beheading a man at a Dallas motel.
Happened at a motel on Samuel Boulevard near I-30 and Dolphin Road shortly after 9 this morning. Video captured police arresting a man covered in blood just down the road. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has the very latest
tonight.
They said he was
covered in blood.
Steve, and we're still waiting at this hour at 9 p.m. for that suspect to be booked into the Dallas County Jail. Meanwhile, witnesses who saw this graphic attack tell me there was some type of argument, some type of altercation before the suspect pulled out a knife, and that's when people at this motel began calling 911. Newly obtained cell phone video shows Dallas police officers handcuffing a man on the ground. He's wearing a white T-shirt with blood on it. Wednesday evening, Dallas police announced 37-year-old Yordanis Cobos Martinez was charged with murder. Dallas police making the arrest half a block away from the downtown suites south of I-30 near Fair Park. Officers rushed to the motel around 9:30 Wednesday morning. The victim, now identified as 50-year-old Chandra Nagamalaya, was beheaded near the front office.
Terrible.
Brianna Irwin was next door getting gas when police swarmed the area.
Just praying for the family. Just praying for the family.
Our officers were proactively patrolling the area and responded quickly to take the violent criminal into custody. Even though he was armed with a bladed weapon, the officers showed tremendous restraint and used minimal force to apprehend him.
Surveillance video from a nearby business captured police making the arrest outside a nearby beer mart. More police come and assist. Another cell phone video shows a man lying on his back before being hauled off in custody.
I hope the criminal justice will come swiftly to this man.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the relation between the suspect and the victim, that is still unknown at this time. It's still under investigation. Also unknown, a motive. We're waiting for police to release that information, but we do know the suspect was interviewed here at DPD, and he is being transferred to the Dallas County Jail. Steve and Heather?
All right.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video. See if we can learn any more.
Let's move now to the latest in another breaking story we've been following all day long. Also a tragic one. A witness just told us a man was running for his life before a suspect beheaded him with a machete.
This story is extremely disturbing, and we need to warn you that some of the details you're going to hear may not be appropriate for young viewers. This all happened this morning in the parking lot of an East Dallas motel just off I-30 near Samuel Grand Park. Our Cole Sullivan has been on the scene since minutes after the attack. Cole, police tell us they do have a suspect in custody here.
And Dia, they arrested that suspect just about a block from where I'm standing up the road here. We saw a machete on the ground in the parking lot where they arrested that person. But the attack happened here at the downtown suites. It unfolded just after 9:30 this morning, police say, and this is the scene earlier today when police arrived here on scene. A witness I talked to said this was an argument that started out loud between two men in the parking lot of the motel when one of the people, the suspect, went inside a motel room and came back out with a machete and began slashing the other man. That victim started running for his life, the witness says, and nearly made it to the motel office before he slipped and fell, and the suspect caught up with him.
That's when he got over on the top of him, and then he hit him again, hit him on the foot. Then he trying to split. He was going to go vertical, and he was going to try to split his head. But I guess he changed his mind on that, and then he started just whacking at his neck.
That witness, who did not want her face shown, says that she believes that the suspect hit the victim more than 50 times with the machete. Police say that he died here on scene, and the witness says the suspect never said anything throughout that attack. Dia.
Cole, what do we know about how police were able to catch the suspect?
Good question. Good question.
Police gave a little bit of information at a briefing earlier this afternoon. They say that they were able to get that suspect because they had officers already in this area proactively patrolling. They were on scene within minutes. They arrested him, as I said, about a block from where this attack unfolded. They say, a witness I talked to say that they drove past just before that happened and saw a man who appeared to have blood on him in the parking lot of a beer mart just up the road. Police say that they haven't released the name, I should say, of that suspect yet, but police say they expect to bring serious charges, as you would imagine, against him. Dia.
All right, our Cole Sullivan reporting for us live on another tragic situation today. We appreciate that. Stay with us for continuing coverage on both of these developing stories. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez is looking into
absolutely crazy. Now, I just found an article. This part So the majority of the stuff is the same. But look at this part. Near the front office, Martinez continued to attack the man, and at one point, the affidavit. At one point, Naga, I see, I'm not good at his name. I apologize. But the victim's wife and son walked out of the front office and tried to intervene, but the police said that Martinez pushed his wife and son away and continued the attack, eventually kicking his decapitated head across the park. There are some demons in this world. There are some true demons in this world, y'all. Absolutely crazy. They said the one lady who witnessed it said that he didn't even say a word during the attack. Then you telling me he kicked the decapitated. Oh my God. There are some demons in this world. Some truly demons. Oh my God. This is absolutely tragic. But he is still being held without bond. I would hope so. I would hope so. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh my God. I wasn't expecting that. I truly wasn't. But there are things we got to look at because we got to review the world together. Yeah. Jesus. Pray for the family. Like always, I say pray for the family, but what was going through his mind? That's always my question. What was going through the mind? They said it started from an argument that was having. And then he went back into his motel and grabbed the machete. I've said this several times. If you're having a heated argument, first of all, I don't think you should ever have a heated argument with anybody. We are too old. Well, we are too old as an adults to be having heated arguments with people. At least that is my feeling. But if you're having a heated argument with somebody and they leave to go in the house, leave immediately. Why are you standing there? Especially if you don't have anything to protect yourself. Because you don't know what they can grab. You don't know what is going to push somebody to not care and try to take your life. Absolutely. There's too much senseless violence in this world. I don't know what happened. We don't know if it was a fight or anything, but based on what the news was saying, it was an argument that led up to someone ended up getting beheaded. In this day and age, yes, I said it, beheaded. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts. God, let me know your thoughts. There's, at the end, like I said, there's demons in this world, and he does not need to be out here ever. Absolutely ever. He needs to stay in jail for the rest of his life. And if they wanted to say anything about the death penalty, I don't know if I have any thoughts against it. This is it's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world, but we had to look at that. But let's get over into a little something not as nice, because it's a lot of crime talking about, but it looks like we're gonna pivot over into a Mesquite father protected his son. Seems like he protected his son against some kind of shooting against other teens. Got to be careful, y'all. You got to be careful, and that's not surprised, because that's what a father does. A good father protects his family. But let's get over into it. We got 2 videos to watch with this, and let's see what it's talking about.
We begin with a Mesquite father shot while trying to protect his son.
Yeah, he tells us it happened in a park last night, and tonight he's just happy he's alive to tell his story. Only on NBC5, Maria Guerrero spoke with the survivor as police searched for the young gunman.
You know, you just kind of trying to make sense of it all. Going from watching a football game, ready for work tomorrow, to being shot. It's right here.
A bullet forever lodged in his shoulder.
I'm just glad to be okay. I'm just glad that I can be able to walk and enjoy the fresh air.
He was able to protect his son.
I could have been
he happy about
dead
it.
right there.
Tyrone Jackson can't shake the young lives who nearly took his.
I'm thinking at 13, 14, I would never thought that they had a real gun on them.
Home surveillance cameras captured the violent scene Sunday night in Mesquite.
The way the bullets was coming at me, it could have hit me in the head, but somehow I ducked in time and it hit me right here. So look how, you see?
Jackson admits his 13-year-old left home without permission and was arguing with 2 other boys at Thompson Park.
After they came in, they was running towards this way.
Jackson says he and his older teen rushed over after learning one was armed.
He did not want to talk. He did not want to try to discuss what was happening. He was just, he just was escalating. So I'm assuming that he had that gun, so he felt it like, hey, I don't have to listen to you because, hey, I got something to stop you.
What does that tell you about these children?
What are parents?
I say it every time. Where are the parents? The parents have to. Oh my God! He even said his 13-year-old left home without permission. Man. And then they're not going to listen. The young kids with guns, they don't care. They truly don't. They won't listen to you if you're trying to be reasonable with them. They think that since they have the gun, they can make the rules. You got to be careful out here. You got to be careful. But let's keep going.
Where's the parents? That's the main question I'm asking. Where's the parents at? You know, what was his parents? And do they know that he have a gun or not?
Mesquite police are still searching for the 2 juveniles, but believe they are known to one of the victim's sons.
You're not mad, it doesn't seem like.
No, I'm not. I'm not mad because I'm not mad because I used to be that teen.
Jackson says jail turned his life around and warns it's a path these boys appear to be heading down.
It's not worth it. If you keep on doing it, eventually you'll get caught. And the consequences can be severe.
Maria Guerrero.
See, he understands what he said. He said that he's not surprised because he used to be one of these teens. But he said that jail, when he got older, jail is what turned his life around. No, man, it's... The kids need to go to jail. It's as simple as that. These kids need to go. Some of these kids need to go to jail. Absolutely crazy. But let's get over into this next video. Let's get into it.
A Mesquite father says he was shot by a kid after he ran to a park to protect his son who got into an argument. Tyrone Jackson now has a bullet permanently in his shoulder.
Let me say this again. We need to teach our kids to not get into heated arguments because you don't know what can happen. If you're getting into a discussion, there's a difference between a discussion and a heated argument. When things become heated, there's no need for a further discussion. There's no need for further discussion. But let's keep going into this video.
Police have not arrested the juveniles responsible for the shooting. Fox 4's Amelia Jones spoke to that father who is now recovering, and Amelia joins us live. Amelia.
Heather, Tyrone Jackson didn't believe the gun was real at first, nor did he think the young kid would use it. Now he has to live with a bullet lodged in his shoulder, and he's just grateful to be alive.
I wasn't planning on going up there and get shot.
Tyrone Jackson was planning to watch football and get ready to work on Monday morning until around 8 p.m. Sunday.
I overheard my wife and my son was talking about someone put a gun on my youngest son.
Jackson followed his wife and older son to the park behind Thompson Elementary School. When he got there, Jackson says he saw his 19-year-old son arguing with 2 other boys. He believed they were about the same age as his 13-year-old son.
He pulled it out and he pointed at my son. That's when I realized.
Bring that back around. They said that his 19-year-old son was arguing with 2 13-year-olds? Let's back that up. Let's have it.
Behind Thompson Elementary School. When he got there, Jackson says he saw his 19-year-old son arguing with 2 other boys. He believed they were about the same age as his 13-year-old son.
He pulled it out.
Why was he arguing with 13-year-olds? Oh my God. And then let's keep going.
He pointed at my son. And that's when I realized this is real. But I'm still thinking to myself, like, this gun can't be real because it's kids.
Jackson's wife called police. As officers were approaching the park, the 2 juveniles ran off and shot back at Jackson and his family. Home surveillance captured the
13-year-old.
rapid-fire shots around
We don't know the
8:25
exact
p.m.
I was thinking about 8 shots, but as I do my research in the neighborhood, I realized it was like 13 shots.
Jackson says he turned his head at the last minute and was hit in the shoulder.
It went in this way, and the bullet, it just sits. The bullet just sits. The bullet just sits right up in this area right here.
Doctors don't plan to remove it, so Jackson will have to live with it for the rest of his life. Mesquite police are still searching for the 2 juveniles who ran off, including the shooter. Jackson says he didn't know his younger son left the house, and he doesn't know what they were arguing about when he got there.
If I would have knew that gun was real when I first walked up there, I probably would have took a different approach.
But he's grateful it was him and not his wife or kids.
I got a bullet in me.
Keep going.
It's going to stay there, but I'm just happy that I'm here. You know, I'm not going to take it for granted.
We checked in with Mesquite police today. Still, no arrests have been made. Jackson's family started an online fundraiser to help with bills and moving costs as the family plans to relocate to a safer area. Heather.
Hey, sometimes that's what you got to do. We got to move and relocate. If the area's too bad, I'm not against moving and relocating. You can try to. It's hard to help people who don't want to help themselves. It is truly hard to help people who doesn't help themselves. But I don't know. I feel like I heard that right. I watched it again. The son was 19 arguing with kids who were possibly like 13 years old, 13, 14. Yeah, in these days and times, you cannot. If someone pulls out a gun, there's no need to think. There's no need to think, oh, is it real or not? No, I'm 100% expecting it to be real. And if I fear for my life, I will protect myself. I will protect myself. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. And hopefully they find the kids. Hopefully they find them and they charge them to the fullest extent of the law. I don't want any slap on the wrist. I hate when they slap juveniles on the wrist for something as crazy as shooting at people and attempted murder. Absolutely wild, y'all. Absolutely wild. But we got to go over to the other side of the world. We got to go over to France. It seems like France is on fire. Protests led to some kind of just the images look like a building set on fire. So we got 2 videos to watch with that, but things are happening all over the world, and that is why we got to review the world together. Let's get into it. Let's get right into it.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, and I did want to bring you this live image that we just have coming into our newsroom right here. We're working to get more information, but this is all related to the protests that are there in France over the government. And as you can see, folks are wearing helmets and masks. A lot of those are reporters, but there's also a lot of protesters and demonstrators that are out there right now trying to figure out what this is. It looks like it is a bar there. Can't quite see the name on the screen, but it does say happy hour. And as you can see, a portion of that bar or a building nearby is up in flames at this point. We are going to keep an eye on this situation and bring you all of the details. But here is what we know so far, as we know that protesters have blocked roads, lit blazes, and were met with tear gas in Paris and elsewhere in France, as there's heaping pressure on the president, Emmanuel Macron, and making the new prime minister's first day in office, some would say, a baptism of fire. The government's Interior Ministry announcing 250 arrests in the first hours of what was a planned day of nationwide demonstrations against Macron, budget cuts, and other complaints there in general. The government's Interior Ministry announcing those arrests, and although falling short of its self-declared intention to quote-unquote block everything, the protest movement that started online over the summer caused widespread hotspots of disruption, defying an exceptional deployment of about 80,000 police who broke up barricades and made a lot of arrests. The Interior Minister said that a bus was set on fire in the western city there, and in the southwest, fire damage to electrical cables stopped train services on one line and disrupted traffic on another. That's according to government transport authorities. Again, you're looking at a live image here coming in out of France. As you can see, what appears to be a building set on fire. Dozens of police officers are there as the protesters remain on the scene here. And this is part of a day of nationwide protests. So sadly, it's likely that we will see more buildings, vehicles, and things of that nature set on fire as the day continues. We'll keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox.
Absolutely wild. Now, I will say this. I will never, ever agree with any kind of violence, political violence, any kind of like rioting where you destroy property. Like when you're protesting and you start destroying things, you just become criminals. Your point becomes mute. Like that's my opinion. You might feel differently, but that is my opinion. If you're going to protest peacefully, protest. Don't cause any violence. Don't start setting stuff on fire. Don't start looting places. Don't any of that. None of that. Because it just, if you're fighting for a good cause or you're protesting for a good cause, it sullies the name of the cause that you're fighting for. Sullies the name of the cause that you're fighting for. But let's go over into this next video and get a little more. Go and block everything. So tear gas. I'm assuming it's tear gas. I think that's the building that got caught on fire over there. One of these. Absolutely crazy. Setting stuff on fire. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let's get over into this article. As you can see, let me zoom in a tad bit. So, as you can see, PBS, nationwide protests in France turn new prime minister's first day into chaos. A day of anti-government action across France on Wednesday saw streets choked with smoke, barricades in flames, volleys of tear gas as protesters denounced budget cuts and political turmoil. The nationwide Block Everything campaign presented a challenge to the president, Emmanuel, and turned Sebastian. I can't look. See, I'm not good with names. Y'all know that. First day as prime minister into a baptism of fire. Although falling short of its self-declared intentions of total disruption, the protest still managed to paralyze part of daily life and ignite hundreds of hotspots across the country. The deployment of 80,000 police officers broke up barricades and dragged hundreds of protesters into custody. Yet flashpoints multiplied. So they talked about this in that first video we looked at. A bus was torched. You had in the Southwest, electrical cables were severed, halting trains. Nearly 2,000 people had taken to the streets nationwide, while CGT Union, one of France's largest labor confederations, claimed closer to 250,000. His ministry reported more than 450 arrests, hundreds held in custody, over a dozen officers injured, and more than 800 protest actions, from rallies to the street fires across the country. Called the day a defeat for those who wanted to block the country. Excuse me. Yet the government-owned tally told a different story. The Block Everything protest did not match the scale of France's 2018 Yellow Vest riot, but still underscored the cycle of unrest that dogged Macron's presidency. Mass deployments, bursts of violence, and repeated clashes between government and streets. After his re-election in 2022, he faced a firestorm of anger over unpopular pension reforms and nationwide unrest and rioting in 2023 after deadly police shooting of a teenager on Paris outskirts. Groups of protesters who repeatedly tried to block Paris beltways during the morning rush hour were dispersed by police using tear gas. Elsewhere in the capital, protesters piled up trash cans and hurled objects at police officers. Firefighters were called out to the fire at a restaurant in downtown Chalut neighborhood. Chalet, so you know I'm not good with names, where thousands of protesters were gathered peacefully. Roadblocks, traffic slowdowns, and other protests were widely spread. Wow, afternoon gathering of thousands of people in central Paris were peaceful and good-humored. A wary nation, the French prolonged cycle of political instability with the Macron's minority governments lurching from crisis to crisis, has fueled widespread discontent. Paris protesters, Vega, a nurse and a public hospital union delegate, said anger that fueled the Yellow Vest protest never went away, and that she wants to defend France's public service from privatization. Absolutely crazy. We're not gonna read all this article, but I feel like we got the gist of it. Seems that people are upset about what's happening with their political climate and what's happening in France with everything that's happening, policy-wise, pension cuts, anything like that, and it's causing them to want to protest. Now, like I said before, I agree with peaceful protest. But I don't think when you start turning it into violence, you start setting things on fire, vandalizing, looting, stuff like that, you take away from the message. You take away from what you was trying to fight for in the beginning, your protest for in the beginning. Same thing that happened with George Floyd when there was riots and riots. There was some peaceful protesting, of course, but then you had some people who were rioting and looting, and that just sullies the name of what they're fighting for in the beginning. But that happens. It happens everywhere, y'all. It happens everywhere, not just in the United States. It happens in France as well. So, well, we got to review the world together, and we we have to keep an eye on this stuff. But let me know your thoughts. Tell me if I'm saying something wrong about the France or if I'm misunderstanding the situation. Do you think that violence has a place in protests? Some type of violence, any property damage and stuff like that? Or are you like me and think that if you're trying to protest something, the best way to do it is peacefully? At least that's my thinking. Now we're going to pivot into, let's see what we're going to. We're going into this video. Looks like there was a crash that hurt 11 people that woman was racing in. So let's get over into that and see what it has for us to look at. Let's get into it.
The Racine woman is now charged with causing the crash that injured 11 people this week. We've also learned the 20-year-old woman shouldn't have been driving in the first place. Stephanie Quirk explains why.
For me, it's still going on. It's just like December 6th just happened.
Tamara Carr says time has stood still since that day in December when her brother, 44-year-old Dwayne Carr, was hit by a driver in Racine and left for dead.
He's all I've ever had, especially on that side of the family. So just losing him, I don't have anything now.
It wasn't until late January when prosecutors charged 20-year-old Shemaya Anderson in connection to the hit and run that killed her brother.
I'm just trying to live each day, but I really want some justice for my brother.
In February, court filings show Anderson was released on bond and ordered not to drive or commit any new crimes while awaiting trial in that case. But on Wednesday, Racine County prosecutors say Anderson ignored those bond conditions when she got behind the wheel again.
Am I to understand that the underlying case is charges in which there was a death involved?
Friday, prosecutors charged Anderson with a total of 29 counts for a Wednesday crash in Racine that injured 11 people.
I cannot state strongly enough how shocked.
Let's back this up a tad bit. So you mean to tell me she was released on bond, told not to drive again after killing somebody from recklessly driving? And she goes back and does it again. Let's go.
Charges in which there was a death involved?
Friday, prosecutors charged Anderson with a total of 29 counts for a Wednesday crash in Racine that injured 11 people.
I cannot state strongly enough how shocked I was to read these allegations against a woman who was out on bond for a driving case causing a death.
Investigators say Anderson was also driving with 3 children in her SUV at the time of the crash. The court commissioner set her bond at $500,000 Friday, limiting her chance to get out on bond again.
This cannot be stressed enough. This woman cannot drive a vehicle under.
Why? See, I said this before. She already didn't listen to the bond, the regulate, what is it called? The specifications for her bond release in the first place. So why give her a bond in general? Like set it at no bond and she needs to stay inside the jail. Like why give her $500,000? I don't know if she'll be able to raise that amount, but why give her the chance? Golly, let's keep going.
Any circumstances.
In Racine, Stephanie Quirk, Fox 6 News.
Anderson will return to court next week for a preliminary hearing in this case. A judge ordered her $50,000 signature bond forfeited in the first case.
A toddler is among 3 people injured in a shooting at a Sheboygan business. It happened this morning.
Crazy. We'll get into that video a little later, but let's go. We gotta look. Where's her picture? Right there. There it is. I'm saying the same thing. Why give her a bond in the first place? Let's see, Anderson. We gotta look up an article. We gotta go into an article about this and see what. Let's see. Yeah, let's look at some Fox News. See if Fox News. I think that was just what we looked at. Let's look at another one. Yeah, that one. So let's go over into this article and see if we can learn any more information about this. And let's get into it. Let's hold on. Did that. Check this. So, a woman accused of crashing. See all these ads, these everywhere. But we'll get through it. A woman accused of crashing her SUV into a Jeep Wrangler and a Rankin City bus Wednesday appeared in court Friday to face 29 charges, including reckless driving, operating without a license. According to the complaint, the DOT records confirmed that Shamia Anderson, 20, did not have a valid driver's license. 6 people were injured on the bus, and the driver of the Jeep Wrangler was also injured. According to the complaint, police said that the injuries were non-life-threatening. A 15-year-old in the same vehicle as Anderson suffered a broken femur. 2 other 15-year-olds were also injured. This cannot be stressed enough. This woman cannot drive a vehicle. The court set her bond at $500,000. I don't understand why. Before, so that he killed the 44-year-old. So that's what we talked about. So yeah, Anderson is scheduled to be back in court for a preliminary hearing on September 11th. So that's okay. So she was just back in court. What we was looking at, but it's, oh my God, absolutely crazy, people. The court system baffles me sometimes. It truly baffles me, because if she already didn't agree or didn't follow the rules, I've said this. I just said this. If she already didn't follow the rules of the bond, why give her another bond? I don't understand it. I truly don't. Hopefully she's not able to get out or not able to provide the bond for it. But if she does get out and she does it again and drives, I mean, what can we say? What did I say? There's nothing else to say. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Absolute crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Or do you agree that it's fine for her to give her a high bond and just no bond? Or is there a reason that you think that they gave her a high bond instead of no bond? No bond as in she can't get out. There's no way you can get out. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. But there's more wild things out. Speaking of bond, we got to go over into, it looks like there was a high-risk sex offender that was out on bond, that basically got a bond and was able to get released. So let's get over into that video and see what this is talking about.
On tonight's Breaking Bond, a 67-year-old high-risk registered sex offender with multiple felony convictions is free on bond tonight after 2 recent arrests for indecent exposure. Fox 26's Randy Wallace joining us live tonight from the courthouse with the latest in his ongoing series. Randy.
Yeah, Anthony. Now, Lionel Coleman has one of the most unusual bond conditions we've ever seen. Lionel Coleman has a lengthy criminal history.
Yeah, he's been in and out of prisons multiple times, usually from sexually related offenses.
Since 1995, Lionel Coleman has been on the state's registered sex offender website. It follows a conviction for indecency with a child. His risk level, high. In recent weeks, Coleman has been arrested twice and charged with felony indecent exposure. 351st Criminal Court Judge Nana Cornelio granted Coleman bonds totaling $45,000. Is that in the best interest of public safety?
Hell no.
Under these circumstances, legally, he's entitled to a bond.
Coleman was charged in the August indecent exposure case, but not indicted.
If he would have been indicted and then allegedly committed this new felony offense while on bond for an indicted felony case, then the prosecutors could have moved to hold him without bond.
According to court documents, Coleman was caught masturbating.
So that might have just brought light on the last one. So if he's not indicted and only facing maybe indicted. What's indicted versus charged? Is that no? That's not the same thing. Is that not? I don't know. The man said so. If he's not indicted and he broke it, I don't know. That's absolutely crazy to me. Either way, I don't think he should have a bond. There are some people who just don't like if they constantly commit crimes, especially some crazy things like this. I don't think he should have bond, but let's
in an H-E-B parking lot, a Target parking lot, and inside a Twin Peaks restaurant. One of his bond conditions states, defendant is not to perform any indecent acts while in a public setting.
By putting this condition in place,
did they just give him a condition saying you can't do a crime again? What do you? It's already a crime for him to do it, but they put it in his bond. See, not if you got to do that, just leave him in jail. But the lawyer said that they legally have to give him a bond. Absolutely crazy. I mean, give him something. Got to give him something outrageous then. But
if he does anything that can be deemed indecent, right, the judge can find that he violated his bond condition by just a preponderance of the evidence, not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and she can revoke his bond that way.
He's a menace to society. He's a menace to the public, and you just can't keep on letting someone out there to reoffend time after time again.
Yeah, they said he had
now, Lionel
arrest going back
Coleman's
to
next
1995.
scheduled court appearance is September 19th. Reporting live from the courthouse, Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
6 days. Absolutely wild, y'all. Absolutely wild. But do you agree? Is it fine that they gave him a bond? I don't think so, but it's a crazy world. The justice system is a crazy thing. I will always support it, but there's some things I just don't understand about it. There are some things I don't understand about it, but they say it's in the law that he is required to have a bond. Maybe if he's required to have a bond, maybe give him something higher. They said they gave that last girl we looked at $500,000. Some of these people might need to have $1 million bonds, but I don't know if that's against the law to have such a high bond, or is it? Or I'm assuming they could probably fight against it or appeal it, but. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. But tell me your thoughts. We gotta, we had to talk about it. We gotta talk about the UAP. So it looks like a missile bounced off of. So first of all, I don't even know. UFO is what I know, but what is a UAP? What is a UAP? An unidentified anomalous phenomena. UAP, unidentified. See, I wouldn't even. Yeah, unidentified. So here, let's go. First thing, let me go ahead and just show you. So that had to be some of me trying. UAP can mean an unidentified. See, I'm not good with words. Phenomenon. The official term for the object or phenomenon observed in the air, sea, or space that cannot be immediately identified, or it can mean an unlicensed assistant. So they know what they mean, but unidentified flying object. So the anomalous version is a broader, more neutral replacement for an older, so unidentified flying object. So that's what it used to be called, but it's not what they call it no more. I guess they got rid of that term. But I like UFO. I like the word UFO. But let's get over into this video. It seems that a missile hit and was bounced off of I'm gonna say UFO, a UFO, because I'm tired. We don't need a new name, UFO. So let's get over into it and see. This is a video breaking it down, and so let's hear about it.
Tonight's future of everything. This one is, what in the Hellfire missile is this video that was just introduced on Capitol Hill during an oversight committee that allegedly shows the U.S. military using a drone to shoot down some sort of unidentified flying object thing. There's that missile that hits that object. This is happening over the coast or near the coast of Yemen. That UAP just continues to fly. And when you look close, you can see what looks like maybe 3 other objects flying off of it. Can we just slow this down a little bit and play it back if we can to see exactly what we're talking about? All right, so there's the missile, makes a strike. This is a huge board, so I get to see this up close. 3 different distinct objects. This thing seems to be spinning a little bit, and then it zooms out. But when this missile hits, I mean, what are we seeing here? Are we seeing these parts coming off of this, what was supposed to be like a sphere? Or are these parts of the Hellfire missile? Is this parallax that makes everything looks like it's going a lot faster? We have no idea. Remember, this is a 2D image. We're talking 3D from above, possibly a lot of confusion, but lawmakers were told that that missile was a Hellfire missile. We don't know what happens after the video cuts off, and we are missing a lot of information about the actual mission that was being flown. The only reason why we're seeing this video is because an unknown whistleblower apparently gave it to Congressman Eric Burleson, who released it publicly during today's oversight meeting. And this thing, which is explosive enough, this is just the tip of the iceberg on what was discussed. As you can imagine, lawmakers want some answers.
Oh, yeah.
The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out.
And let's bring in Florida Representative Anna Paulino Luna, who has been spearheading the declassification of all things UAP in Washington. She was a chairwoman for today's wild hearing. Congresswoman, great to see you. Thanks so much for being with us. It has been a few hours now since that video was released during your committee. What was your reaction?
I think that myself and all members on that task force, to include the witnesses, have the very same reaction, and that nothing, to my knowledge, exists in our arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like that. But more importantly, why are videos like this being overclassified and held back from the American people? In my opinion, if we're writing the checks, if Congress has the authority and oversight to investigate, why are we being denied access? And so, look, I understand that this is a very big government and there's a lot of moving pieces, and I know that this administration has exercised the utmost transparency, which is exactly why we are going to them to get help on this issue. And as you heard from one of our witnesses, Chief Wiggins, he actually was given approval and permission to testify to Congress by the U.S. Department of the Navy. And so I think that that's a massive win in regards to transparency. And we look forward to continuing to track down these leads, but also for pushing for declassification of much more footage that, in my opinion, exists. And then also to ensuring that our whistleblowers are protected. So we are asking people to support their senators and their members of Congress voting for the UAP Disclosure Act, as well as whistleblower protections.
Yeah, that whistleblower protection is so important. And yet this video, we know it came from a whistleblower. We don't know who that whistleblower was. I understand that this was some sort of dead drop to the representative. I got to ask, I mean, I've been watching this video for way too long today. Do you think that there is a possibility that this is something that the U.S. military was testing out, like some way to take out drones? I know that the Hellfire variants, they have some that have spinning blades for soft targets, or maybe, I don't know, like a balloon or something? Or do you think that this is advanced tech that we just don't have?
You know, I think that there is obviously always going to be the case that maybe.
Yeah, we have to remember that all we know, all that was given, I don't know if they actually said that it was a UFO or not, but based off the video, we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. Then you also got to think about it. AI. AI is getting very powerful. So we don't know if this is AI. Someone created this, but Yes, I would like them to release information about if we've ever been in contact with aliens or aliens ever contacted us, if we have seen UFOs. I would like to know that, but would the government release it? I don't know. I don't know if the government would release it. Maybe to keep us, what is it? So our minds don't get too blown or something like that. I don't know, but that's wild. If that's a Hellfire, and they said Hellfire, so I had to look up exactly what a Hellfire missile is. So forgive me that I didn't know it. So a Hellfire, so I will start this video up. And so just a Hellfire missile is a precision laser guided or radar guided air to ground missile designed to defeat individual targets such as tanks and other armed vehicles. Launched from helicopters like the AH-64 Alpaca or unnamed aerial vehicles such as the MQ-9 Reaper, Hellfire missiles offers long standoff ranges and in some variants fire and forget capabilities. They are known for their accuracy and can use different warheads to engage a variety of targets, including ships and personnel behind cover. So that is what a Hellfire missile is, and that's what they shot at the apparent UAP, or as we all know it as UFO. Let's see.
People have presented that they might try to say that it's a balloon, but I don't know any balloons that can be split and then stay together the way that this particular thing did. But what I will tell you is, in the name of science and in the name of national security, we should be getting answers to these questions, and we should be taking this seriously, and we should be investigating. I can tell you that in my district alone in Pinellas County that there's a number of these sightings, but I'm not the only one. There was many members of Congress who have this phenomena that takes place within their congressional districts as well. But I'm not the only person that feels this way. This is bicameral and bipartisan, and I think that this is probably one of the biggest bipartisan issues currently in Washington, D.C.
Hands down, and hopefully we can all come together on this. I mean, you've been so relentless in your. Yeah, you've been relentless in your pursuit of all this. You are, you now have a committee. You're chairing the task force on declassification of federal secrets. Like, you have access, at least more access to bases and files and skiffs than I do. And I know that you're having trouble. So, like, why is it so hard to just take a video like this, go to somebody inside the Pentagon and be like, what is going on?
Well, again, when we tried to, as a committee, get briefings on certain information, specifically at the Department of Defense, we were told that we don't hold access authority and that we had to be a part of certain committees. But that's not true. In fact, oversight is actually the overarching branch of Congress that actually has investigative authorities into every single sector and branch of government. And so that's false. There's an issue with overclassification, but also, too, as you stated, many whistleblowers are afraid of being hit with the Espionage Act, especially if they are in positions in the intelligence community. And so that's exactly why we need to talk about immunity. We're actually going to be asking for the committee to vote as a whole to give certain people that we want to get into SCIF immunity so that they can actually talk to what they might know. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's our job, whether or not these things are natural phenomena, whether or not these things are adversarial nature. I think that not answering those questions, I think that not having the discussion breeds room for error, and especially in regards to theories that might not necessarily be correct. And so I'm looking at this from a very analytical perspective. But what I can tell you is, just like you stated, you've been watching this video. It's pretty wild and bizarre. I don't think that it should have been classified in the way that it was. And I think that there's more information that should be released to the American people.
I'm tired of using the name UA. Whoa. Go back to the right one. Hold on. Where is it? I'm going to click the. Have I been on mute this whole time? I hope I haven't been on mute this whole time, but I don't know what that is, y'all. Honestly, I don't know what it is. Could have been, they shot a Hellfire missile at it. They shot a Hellfire missile at it. Now, I don't know if it's a UFO. I don't know if it was a light. I don't know if it was just a natural phenomenon. But we need an explanation since they shot a Hellfire missile at it. Tell us what it was. Tell us what you thought it was. Why did you shoot a missile at it? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But would they answer it? I don't know. They said that they put it behind a lot of classifications. Only the highest of the highs can get access to that information. Would Trump give us this information and send it out? You never know. You never know. He says he always talks about he'll release the information, but just gotta wait and see if we'll get any answers on it. But absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think it is? Do you think it was an actual UFO or just something light? Do you think it was just people blowing something out of proportion that is not a UFO? Let me know. Do you not believe in aliens at all? As a science man, I like to believe in aliens. The universe is so wide and ever expanding. I believe it's hard that there's no aliens. I don't know if it's like the little green man, but I believe there is some type of bacteria at least, which is a one-cell organism. It's a one-cell organisms. I haven't done biology in a while, so I can't remember. But there might be something like that out in space that can survive in the vacuums of space, that are just naturally born in the vacuums of space. So that technically is an alien. Now, let me know your thoughts. We're getting to the end of the show now. We got two more things to talk about, but we have to discuss the two bodies that are in two different tow yards. And then there was one of the singers. One of the cars was a singer. I don't know, it's a TikTok singer, but I don't know who the singer was. But let's get over into that. We got two different videos to look at, and let's see what it's about. Let's see. Wrong one, not that one. Close that. This one. Let's get into it. See this first video.
And we begin here at 4 with two people found dead inside of two cars at two different tow yards. Thank you so much for being with us, everybody. I'm Michael Brownlee.
And I'm Colleen Williams. NBC4 Investigates was first to report the discovery of a body inside a Tesla that we now know that car belonged to the singer David.
And today we are learning new details. Our investigative reporter Eric Leonard joins us live from our newsroom with this breaking update. Eric.
Hi, Michael and Colleen. Well, homicide detectives on this case now say they believe the person found inside the front trunk of that Tesla yesterday was a woman. But they say it's still too soon to say for certain if she was the victim of a murder. That said, our contacts tell us there are sinister signs this was a crime, but one that could be more than a month old. This was the scene yesterday as detectives and criminalists examined the human remains discovered inside that black Tesla. Several law enforcement contacts tell us they believe the dead person was a woman and her body was wrapped in a unique container, all of which weighs into the investigators' beliefs that she was likely the victim of a crime. The conditions of those remains were extremely decomposed, which is making identification and the investigation more difficult. Today, we learned the car had been parked here near the intersection of Doheny and Bluebird on the border between L.A., West Hollywood, and Beverly Hills. Neighbors and people working in the area told me the car had been there for at least a month. City records showed the black Tesla with Texas license plates got a ticket only once on September 3rd for being parked in the same space for more than 72 hours. It wasn't towed until last Friday. The remains were found yesterday when workers at that tow yard said they noticed the odor of decomposition. Now, the Tesla is registered to that pop singer who goes by David, spelled D4VD. A rep for the performer said he's out on tour and is out of state, but is cooperating with police. I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News. Back to you.
All right, and Eric, police in South LA are trying to figure out how a body ended up inside a burned car at another tow yard. News Chart before flew over the scene at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. The remains were discovered inside of this burned Honda Civic at Al's Towing. It's unclear how the person died and why the car was towed. NBC4's Amber Frias is on her way to that tow yard, and we'll have a live update coming up.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video.
Developing story is so disturbing. The LAPD now working to identify human remains found in another car in another tow yard.
This is a thing, yeah. It's the latest shocking discovery, and it was made at a yard in South LA. And Mario Ramirez is there live with all the details. Mario?
Sandra, Roxia, hard to believe, but the LAPD, as you mentioned, investigating two gruesome discoveries. Human remains found at local tow yards. Earlier this week, it was Hollywood, and now human remains found here at Al's Towing Service in the Chesterfield Square neighborhood of South LA. Another body found stuffed in a vehicle here. Take a look at the video. It shows the early Tuesday investigation into human remains. The LAPD says were found in the trunk of a blue Honda Civic that appears to have fire damage. Police say that car was left abandoned on a roadway in South Central LA before it was impounded, and we're learning it's now at the center of a missing persons case, according to investigators. The coroner now working on a positive ID. At this point, it's not even clear if the remains are male or female. Now, just one day earlier, another body found inside an impounded Tesla at a different lot in Hollywood. A decomposed body confirmed to be that of a woman stuffed inside the front storage area of that Tesla, towed to the lot after reportedly being abandoned in the Hollywood Hills area last week. And while some of the circumstances here are eerily similar, the LAPD's chief of detectives not connecting those two grisly discoveries.
We have no indication that these two incidents are related to each other at this time. We do not have a suspect because we have not established that a crime has occurred. We are going to continue to move this investigation forward. The next phase of this investigation is going to involve the identification of the human remains, and that will be done by the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office. The coroner's office is going to determine the cause of death.
And that Tesla involved in the first incident this week out of Hollywood being linked to David Anthony Burke, also known as Artist David. TMZ reporting the car is registered in his name out of Hempstead, Texas, and he is reportedly cooperating with that LAPD investigation. According to his social media, he's been on tour since early August, and he's scheduled to return to LA next week. Now, back out here live, as you heard from the LAPD, no suspects or even persons of interest have been named in either of these cases, and as the investigations continue, the LAPD is asking anyone with information to come forward. Now, live here in South LA, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back to you.
Continue to follow this. Thank you, Mario.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Now we got to look to see if any and car. See if they have any more information about it. Let's see. And the most recent stuff is from, 2 days. So, most recent stuff. Tesla told her found older. 4 million. Okay, so they get deep into it. Let's go over into this. Let's go over into this. So, zoom in some. So, the Los Angeles medical examiner said that the corpse of the woman was about 5'2", tall with black wavy hair and a distinct tattoo on her finger. She was wearing a tube top, black leggings, and a yellow metal bracelet and metal stud earrings. Officials have not yet identified the remains. It was not immediately clear how the woman died, but police are treating it as a homicide investigation. The Tesla was, as we know, was found abandoned 5 days prior at Bluebird Avenue and Dorney Drive in Hollywood Hills area. According to the police, the impounded Tesla had been at the tow yard for 2 days before the smell was reported. The 20-year-old singer, known for his indie R&B and pop sound, rose to fame after he went viral on TikTok. Has more than 33 million monthly listeners on Spotify. David is known for his hit like Romantic Homicide and Here With Me. Both of them have reached 1 billion streams on YouTube. So meanwhile, one day after human remains were found in Tesla, a second body was found in a separate tow yard in South Los Angeles. Family members had filed a missing persons report and reportedly tracked the woman to a scorched Honda Civic at the impound lot on West Gage Avenue. When the family members wanted to look at the car, the tow yard operator called the LAPD. Investigators arrived at the scene and found the woman's body partially burned in the trunk, police say. Investigators have said they don't believe that these cases are related. It's absolutely tragic, y'all. Absolutely tragic. We'll keep on the lookout to see if they release any more information about who these victims were and if they can find out who the killers were. Now, if it's the first one, David's car in the Tesla, I wonder if he filed a police report. Those are my questions. Did he file a police report saying that the car was stolen, or was he just not aware that his car was gone? Like, where I want to know about that. But absolutely tragic situation. But we gotta review the world together, and we gotta look into this stuff. And they said there's no link to them, but it's wild to think that this is like a day apart? Yeah, a day apart. To where 2 bodies are found at 2 different tow yards. Is that just like if they weren't at the tow yard, so they originally dumped in the car, and then the car was towed to the tow yards. So are people just now leaving dead bodies in the car and just waiting for them to be towed? Absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. Absolutely wild. But that is it for that story. Let me know if you have any thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Tell me your thoughts. Absolutely crazy. But so it can be a cold world out here, y'all. It can be a cold world. But we just gotta pray for the family of both victims, that they are identified and they family can get some closure by making sure they know where the missing person was, if they were missing and worried about him, and hopefully that we can find the killer. Hopefully the police can find the killer. Absolutely wild. Now, the very last thing for today, it's been a good show, almost at 3 hours today, just because I had to give y'all something else because we didn't miss yesterday. But the last thing we're going to go into today is this one was wild. A father was acquitted after holding an Uber driver at gunpoint. Now, this is a wild scenario, but the small gist that I got from a little bit that I watched of it is basically his daughter called an Uber, tried to sneak out, and I guess he thought that it was a threat or something like that, and he came out and held the Uber driver at gunpoint. So let's get over into that and see what it's talking about. See what our thoughts are. Let's get into it.
Today, a Milton man. Tonight, acquitted of charges of aggravated assault and false imprisonment. Sean Hollenbeck was arrested a year ago for holding a rideshare driver at gunpoint at his home. Tonight, a jury found him not guilty of those crimes. And our Hannah James spent the day in the courtroom. Hannah?
Bob, Hollenbeck said this trial ruined his family. And at the end of the day, that's who he believed he was protecting when he pointed a gun at a rideshare driver.
I said this in there and I mean it. I would rather get shot at than go through that again in combat.
After 2 days of testimony, a jury found Sean Hollenbeck not guilty of aggravated assault and false imprisonment.
It's a blessing. Its prayers are answered and common sense. I can't even believe my family had to go through this. I think from...
Oh, what do you mean? Hold on. Oh, well, hold on. Let's keep going a little bit.
The testimony that came out, I hope that the sheriff's office reviews what happened and press charges on the right people.
Hollenbeck's 13-year-old daughter snuck out of his house, ordered herself a lift to Pensacola. Hollenbeck immediately thought the worst.
He got on that stand and he testified that he felt that he had no clue where she was. He felt that she was being trafficked. He felt that she was being drugged, raped.
So when an unmarked car parked at the lot next to his home in the dark, he said his 31 years of active service in the Army kicked in.
What was running through the defendant's mind explains why this happened. It does not justify his behavior.
He pointed a gun at the driver, ordered him out of the car and onto the ground.
Now, when you were held at gunpoint, how did you feel?
Terrified. I pled for my life and said, I'm just an Uber driver. I have a son. Please don't shoot.
He got his information and let him go unharmed.
I submit to you that a reasonable person is not going to run up on a vehicle, not knowing who is in the vehicle, not knowing where the vehicle's coming from, having no facts about the occupants of that vehicle with a loaded firearm. This is not Fallujah, Iraq.
Hollenbeck and the jury of his peers disagreed, believing he acted justly given the circumstances.
He should have never been arrested. This was a father that protected his daughter, and they stopped at my client, doing the right thing, and picked him out, and he should have never been arrested.
And with this verdict today, it shows the parents of Santa Rosa County that it's not illegal to protect your children, and that's what's important.
Hollenbeck says the acquittal is not the end. He wants an apology from law enforcement for pressing the charges.
One is, I spent my career in the military, and we have a saying called "don't rush to failure." And if they just would have slowed it down and actually looked at the information instead of flying the plane right into the tunnel vision into the mountain, they've destroyed my life. Lost my job. My family went through hell. It's absurd. If they just would have done their job.
Judge Clifton Drake presided over the case. At one point in the trial, he ordered jurors out of the courtroom and had a conversation with attorneys about citizens' arrests. The defense claimed Hollenbeck was making a citizen's arrest when he ordered the driver to the ground. The judge rejected that, saying, quote, "If law enforcement behaved the way that Mr. Hollenbeck behaved, there would be an uprising. To point a gun at someone, order them around without any information, I don't believe that law enforcement can behave like that," end quote.
See, it's where is he at? This is weird. So his 13-year-old daughter snuck out the house. He feared because he didn't know where she was. That's understandable. I can understand that. Then a car pulls up. I guess doesn't have, I don't know what he mean. Did he not have his lights on or something like that? But he immediately ran up to the car without asking, without knocking on the window, asking why you're here. Like that would be more reasonable to me. If you go up to the car, knock on the window, and be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Maybe he couldn't see into the car, so maybe he felt threatened with his life, but it's weird. Come on now. The Uber driver wasn't doing anything. He was doing his job. He got a call on his phone saying, "Please pick me up at this location." He pulls up to the location, waits for the driver, or waits for the person who ordered the Uber ride. And the father comes out, gun drawn, orders him to get out the car on the ground. And when he finally realizes that, when he finally realized it was an Uber driver, he let him go. That's good. That's good. So he wasn't, but no charges. I don't know. I think the Uber driver wasn't doing anything wrong. Now, I don't know if they said that he was sitting there with his lights off or something like that, and that's why he was scared. But the Uber driver didn't do anything wrong. He's sitting there waiting to pick up someone, and you pull a gun on him. I don't know if they would have charged him with, I think they wanted to charge him with like holding, kidnapping, and stuff like that. But garnishing a firearm, I could see that. That's reasonable to me. Because he immediately garnished. He didn't ask no questions, anything like that. He asked questions after he got him after he got him restrained on the ground. And the judge was right. If a police officer did that, if a police officer see you parked, you're parked in front of it on a street waiting for someone, and the police officer runs up, pulls a gun on you, immediately tells you to get on the ground, then asks you questions, it would be an uproar. It would be an uproar, and the police would probably be held responsible. I'm thinking that the police would be held responsible. But the jury decided not to hold him responsible. And that is why we have a judicial system. And you are innocent until proven guilty. He was judged by a jury of his peers. And they decided that they understand where he was coming from. No one was hurt in the end. So they decided to let him go. Now, if he would have shot somebody, that'd hopefully been a different story. But they've judged and decided on what they believe, and that is their right, and that is what they think. I think maybe if they would have charged him with garnishing a firearm, I don't know exactly what they was all charging him with. Hold on, let's see. Let's see. Guess why we got a Google Father. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's go over into this. Let's go over into this video. Move that out the way. This one right here, screen share. So, AI overview. A man in Milton, Florida was arrested in May 2024 after holding an Uber driver at gunpoint with an AR-15. The incident occurred because the man suspected foul play when the driver dropped off his 13. Okay, so she was dropping off the daughter who snuck out the house. Okay, who snuck out the house in August 2025. He was acquitted of the charges. So, like we said, he pointed an AR-15, ran him down with an AR-15 after he dropped off the daughter. Wild. So he wasn't even waiting to pick her up. He got a message on his phone for Uber or Lyft, whoever he worked for. It says Uber here, but I feel like they said Lyft in the video. And then it said, all right, I need you to pick me up here and drop me off here. And that's what he did. And he drops her off, not even thinking about it. And then next thing you know, the father runs out with his AR-15 drawn and pointed him, forced him to the ground. The defense claimed that he feared his daughter was being trafficked and acting to protect. How was he? If he was dropping her off at home, how was she being trafficked? Yeah, I don't know. The jury found him not guilty on August 26th, 2025. This is not an isolated incident. Multiple incidents and gun-related events involved rideshare drivers and passengers have been reported. Yeah, tell me your thoughts, y'all. Tell me your thoughts. At the end of the day, I think he should have been charged with something. Maybe garnishing a firearm. But I do, yes, I understand the need to want to protect your child. But just running up to someone dropping off your kid who is an Uber driver and immediately, instead of asking questions, you immediately have your gun drawn. Because based on what we're just looking at, he dropped her off. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts, y'all. Tell me your thoughts. But that is an absolute crazy case. But at the end of the day, he was acquitted. And he has no charges. He has no charges. There's no charges, not going to jail. I don't think he would have gone to jail anyway. He probably would have been probation or something like that. But absolutely crazy. But that is it for the show today. Thank you for tuning in now. Thank you for tuning in later. But it was a long show today. We got to the 3-hour mark. But I had to give y'all a little something extra because we missed Friday. We missed Friday. You know, I'm not going to just miss and not make up for it. I'm not just going to miss a live stream and make up for it, but a lot of things we talked about today. A lot. So go back and look at it, and you already know that these videos will be broken down. Tell me your thoughts on any of the things we talked about. Any of them. Tell me if you disagree with anything I said, because I want to have a good discussion about these things. Let's discuss it. Let's have a civilized conversation. You tell me your points, I tell you my points. If I'm wrong, I will tell you. If I misunderstood something, I will tell you. It's fine to be wrong about a situation or misunderstand a situation. But, hey, like I always, tell me your thoughts. But remember, this is AC Reviews the World, and I am your host, AC the Engineer. Thank you for tuning in to episode 41 of AC Reviews the World. These videos will be broken down. Now, like I said I always say, if you see any videos that you want me to review, please send them to my email. It's same as my name, acreviewstheworld@gmail.com. There's a dot after the A and a dot after the C. But I gotta end it with the outro. But that's it for now, and I will see y'all back on Tuesday. But thank you all, and peace.